code has been compromised.
All right, welcome back, Truth Seeker. It is Wednesday, March 17th, 2021, and I feel like I made it just in time. It has just been such a busy week, and right up until the last second, I was just trying to get the show in order. Let me make sure we're coming through all right, checking in with the people in the chat. Looks like I can be heard. That's good. We've had some microphone problems in recent weeks. But if you're tuning in tonight, this is Truth Frequency Radio. Been doing this show, I've lost track of time, for a long time on TFR. And it's every Wednesday night, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. to midnight Eastern. And historically, it's been on GematriaEffectNews, but that channel is suspended right now. So I made a new Gematria Effect News called Gematria Effect News 21. And it's suspended. Yes, it got suspended this weekend because this weekend we were live streaming from downtown Seattle, having an event raising awareness about Event 201 on the day of the Military World Games, the coronavirus pandemic simulation right before the outbreak in Wuhan, and just seeing if people in Seattle more than a year later knew about it. A year ago to the day we were in Seattle educating about the same thing. A year later, we thought we should be right back there in the same spot, getting out the same message, and what do you know, a year later, still most of the city hasn't heard a word about it. But yeah, just for doing a live stream, talking to people about real facts, getting their opinion and take on things. Google took that down for violation of their terms of service. It's like, wow, so what exactly did we violate there? Because we only gave out facts, and we didn't tell anyone anything for a certain, and we heard a diversity of opinions, but I think the real problem was, just the many people that were open-minded and had thoughts that would, go against the medical terms of service as dictated by the World Health Organization, whatever it says in YouTube's vague write-up. And also maybe they didn't want people to see that people flew in from all over the country to get out the word with us in Seattle. We had people flying from New York, Chicago, Florida, Ohio, California, Utah. People flew in from all over. Two brothers drove all the way up from Southern California. And, plenty of people from the region came out. We had a good turnout. It was very impactful. And if you missed it, they had to shut down 3 different live streams. And the third shutdown was the funniest because there was a guy out there trying. He was like an online troll, but in real life, he was trying to come there and talk real loud and argue with everybody, make all these bogus statements. And he had pink pants on while he was doing it. And then he changed clothes and he came back with a boombox, and he was playing his boombox real close to us. So it picked up the mainstream music, and it shut down our live stream for a copyright strike because the mainstream music was playing so close out of his boombox. And there were a few different agent provocateurs, but I have heard that 2 of the 3 streams lost have been recovered, so I still need to research that and see if I can download them myself and put them back up somewhere else. Probably not going to be on YouTube, but anyway, it was very encouraging to see people come out from all over the country, diversity of people, all ages, and so anyway, I wish I could direct you to watch the videos that we put up, but Google decided that those they weren't worthy for their platform. And other than that, the big news story is what came out yesterday. It's been the big news story today all day. 8 people killed in 3 spa shootings in Atlanta. And again, 8 people killed in 3 locations. 8-3. They said the shootings happened at about 8:30, 8:30. Again, this is the Gematria Effect, and in Gematria, the practice coding numbers into words, murder equals 83. The song Murder by Numbers by The Police came out in 83. And that movie poster for Murder by Numbers. The only letters that are changed are the E to the 3, the B to the 8, 3883. Murder equals 38 and 83. They said the third killing was in Cherokee County, just outside Atlanta, and Cherokee equals 38. Also, the killing was on March 16th, reportedly. 16/3, like 163, the 38th prime. And I forget, I don't have my notes in front of me right now, but wherever they picked up the killer, Crisp something, whatever the name of that town is, equals 163 as well. So perfect ritual, by the numbers, the same old repetitive numbers that we've talked about several times, that we've written 2 books about, that we've done countless shows on. Just another very clear-cut example of murder by numbers. And remember, the police recorded that song in 1983, and it's the police giving us the details of these reported killings. So there's that. And then that happened in Atlanta, a predominantly black city, one day after the Jesuit order. Yes, the Jesuit order pledged to pay $100 million in reparations on behalf of 2 former Georgetown priests that headed the school, who apparently owned 272 slaves. And if you missed my video on that, I encourage you to check it out. But just real quick, again, the reparations pledge of $100 million, and they said they paid it already, and they said they have a 15 to 25 year plan to repay. Well, excuse me. They said they paid $15 million of the $100 million on Monday, with a pledge to pay the next $85 million over the course of 15 to 25 years. And people should be asking, like, where's this money going to? I mean, if there's 100 million black people in the U.S., they each get $1. What's that supposed to make up for something? And over the course of the next 25 years, you'll get your $1. But anyway, aside from that point, it was Monday, March 15th, the Ides of March, that this pledge was made and supposedly this payment. And again, March 15th can be written 15/3 like 153. When you write out Jesuit order, it's 153. When you write out Holy Bible, it's 153. Of course, the miraculous catch of 153 fish. And March 15th on the calendar is also the 74th day of the year, 74. And when you write out in Gematria, remember the Jesuit order stands for Society of Jesus, but in 74, when you write out Jesus, it's 74. When you write out cross, it's 74. When you write out Messiah, it's 74. When you write out gospel, it's 74. When you write out parables, it's 74. When you write out occult, it's 74. Lucifer, 74. Jewish is 74. This practice of numbers and words comes from Jewish mysticism, Kabbalah. Again, when you write out English, it's 74. When you write out Gematria, it's 74. All these rituals was 74 all the time. And if you haven't read my new book, Number Games 9/11 to Coronavirus, again, if you can't afford it, I made it free to download on my Patreon page. But chapter 1 is about the number 74 and how it's proof that the Jesuits created the language and standardized it as we know it, and synced it up with the Gregorian calendar, which we're on, which is in tribute to the Pope. And like I say in the book, when you learn the code, you can see how the rituals that are done every day, you see how the language and the calendar are synced up, and you see how all roads point back to Rome. So, with those story points out of the way, again, Gematria, it's just such a diverse knowledge. You can use it to predict what the rigged election will be. You can use it to predict what the rigged football game will be, or basketball game, or baseball game, or tennis match, or golf tournament, or et cetera, et cetera. European football, international football, I should say. You can use this knowledge to predict what will happen before it happens, from news to sports to elections. And we demonstrate this time and time again. All last year we were saying it's going to be Biden, number 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday. Catholic equals 46. There's 46 books in the Catholic Old Testament. Beau Biden died at age 46, and yada, yada, yada. Whole bunch of things. Maud Kennedy from the Kennedy family died on 4/6, or her body was found on 4/6 after disappearing a few days earlier. Of course, her relative, who was president, was killed at age 46. JFK, the only Catholic president before Biden. But anyway, just this knowledge, you just see how it's used across so many different things that occupy the minds of the masses. It's like the things in the mainstream that occupy the minds of the masses, they have this occult spell behind them, which is in the words, spelling, in the numbers. And something real interesting, one of the mainstream storylines this year for March Madness, the college basketball tournament that begins, I guess it essentially begins tomorrow with the first 4, and then the majority of the games are on Friday and Saturday, and then the ball's rolling from there. But one of the big storylines this year, and they're even saying it in the mainstream, is, ooh, what a coincidence. The coincidence is that Gonzaga, the top Jesuit team in the country, they have the chance to go undefeated and go 32-0. And no team's gone undefeated since Indiana. And this year, the entire tournament is in Indiana because of COVID. They're trying to have it in a smaller region to keep it more contained rather than spread out with different games going on in different parts of the country. But the last time Indiana went undefeated 32-0, that was 45 years ago, and this year the championship is on 4-5. 45 years ago, championship on 4-5. History could repeat itself 45 years later. And what makes that all the more interesting, and they're even putting this in the mainstream as a coincidence, is the last time it happened, college basketball powerhouses Duke, Kentucky, and Louisville all missed the tournament that year. And this year, coincidentally, 45 years later, with the championship on 4-5, all of those teams have missed the tournament again. Louisville, Kentucky, and Duke. And again, there's a lot more to it than that. And we've been talking about it on Patreon all week because we got a lot of sportsaholics around here. And again, there's a part of my mind as I decode sports. I'm like, okay, they're destroying the dollar. You know, there's so many important things to worry about right now. But at the same time, a lot of people in this community, they're awake to all that. They're trying to do their part about it, but still they got to have their little bit of fun, their little bit of entertainment, and see if we can do it again. If we can get ahead of the rigged March Madness tournament before it plays out. The last March Madness, remember there wasn't one last year because of COVID. It went down by the numbers, but the year before it was Virginia, and we had that before the tournament began in February at the start of the month. Remember when all the politicians were doing blackface, a lot of them in Virginia? And that was the year of the 400-year anniversary of slavery in America, which happened in Virginia. And then in Black History Month, you had all the blackface stuff. The lieutenant governor at the time, Justin Fairfax, he was accused of raping a woman at Duke in the news, a relatively young black man, the day before Virginia played Duke in college basketball. And I said, okay, here's a clear riddle with the tournament. And we said that day when it came in beginning of February, we said, okay, either Virginia or Duke is winning this championship. Let's pay attention to what happens. Well, by the time the tournament started, the coach of Virginia, Tony Bennett, was on 89 career losses. And in Gematria, Virginia Cavaliers equals 89. And we said, that'll be perfect. Virginia can win the tournament. It's synced up with the Justin Fairfax story. And the coach can stay on the symbolic 89 losses. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. Now remember, when you write out Virginia Cavaliers, the way it equals 89, if you're new here, it's very simple. You just take the alphabetic order. A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, D is 4, up to Z is 26, and you use the rules of numerology. So A is still 1, B is still 2, C is still 3, D is still 4. Where it changes is J. J is the 10th letter, and in numerology, 10 is 1 plus 0 was 1. 1 plus 0 was 1. So J becomes 1. K, the 11th letter, is 1 plus 1 is 2, so K becomes 2. L, the 12th letter, think about it, what would it be? 1 plus 2 is 3, right? The 12th letter becomes 1 plus 2 is 3. You just make each letter a single-digit number. So when you get to Z, the 26th letter, 26 is 2 plus 6 is 8, so Z becomes 8. When you write out Virginia Cavaliers, it equals 89. And what's interesting about that is if you write out Virginia, but just use the alphabetic order without the numerology, so V's the 22nd letter, I's the 9th, R's the 18th, G's the 7th, I's the 9th, N's the 14th, I's the 9th, A's the 1st. You add up the letters of Virginia, it equals 89, which is the alphabetic order. But Virginia Cavaliers is 89 with the alphabetic order and rules of numerology. So very special number to that college basketball team. And we know these things just from paying attention year after year to the rituals they do around these numbers. Like sometimes it's a real... anyway, if you just follow the number patterns, you can see what will happen. Just to make an arbitrary point, like... maybe it's 89 days from Tony Bennett's birthday, and he sets this career mark. This is how it works in the world of rig sports. You're like, look at that. 89 days from his birthday, Mr. Virginia Cavaliers, he sets this new record. And it's just like this throughout the entire world of sports, which we document year after year, and that's why we continue to do well in these tournaments. And, the year before that was the year where I had to take a short break from YouTube because I was IP banned. I had created 15 new channels for YouTube in a short period of time, and then it wouldn't allow me to register any new account because you need a phone number, and I'd already used my phone number, Sweet Lady's phone number, my mom's phone number, my dad's phone number, my sister's phone number. I'd used up all the numbers, and I tried to get like one of those burner numbers, but it wasn't working with that. And so anyway, I took a short break from making YouTube videos, but then when I moved to the new house a few months later, I had a new number here, and I used that, and I set up my account again. But that year, I didn't do the March Madness tournament because I was driving for Uber and Lyft. My book had come out, but I'd just been banned, and I had no way to market it, and then I was in a bad spot, so I drove for Uber and Lyft for a few months. But that year, I did mention that we were coming up on the 136th meeting between a 16 and a 1 seed. 16's the worst, 1's the best. It had never happened before where a 16 beat a 1, but in the 136th meeting all time on March 16th, 2018, University of Maryland, Baltimore County upset Virginia. 136th time between a 16 and a 1, and the first time that the team lost, that the 1 seed lost to the 16 seed, and when you add 1 through 16 together, it equals 136, and that game was played on the 16th of March. So a little more than 3 years and a day. And again, that's just the beauty of this knowledge, because if you unlock something like that, it's huge odds for a 16 seed to beat a 1 seed. The year before that, it was the year that Charlotte lost the All-Star game in the NBA. Charlotte lost the All-Star game over the bathroom bill. That was over who could use the restroom, the men or the women, or the transgenders. Can the transgender people use just whatever room they feel more comfortable in? That was the bathroom bill. And because the Carolinas brought up that bill, which was meant to keep transgenders from choosing which restroom they use, the national news said, oh, that's very bigoted, and then the NBA pulled the All-Star game from Charlotte. Well, we said when we were doing our decode, we said, watch this. The Carolinas, they're going to dominate college basketball this year. And we said before the tournament began why North Carolina would beat Gonzaga and why it would be all about the number 71. North Carolina ended up beating Gonzaga, and they did it with 71 points. That year, the bracket came out on the 71st day of the year. March Madness equals 71. Gonzaga is 71. Gonzaga Bulldogs is 71. Just like that, Virginia and Virginia Cavaliers are both 89. And Catholic's also 71. Of course, Gonzaga is a Jesuit Catholic school. And again, it's always been Jesuits and Catholics with March Madness. The first ever edition of it in 85 was Villanova, the Catholic school, over the Jesuit school, Georgetown. And that's back in the days of John Thompson, who died this year by the numbers on a Sunday, August 30th, 2020. It was a date with 78 numerology. He died at 78, and Jesuit and Sunday equals 78. But that year, not only did North Carolina beat Gonzaga in the men's tournament, as we said they would before it began, that same year, the South Carolina Gamecocks won the ladies' tournament, and the announcers constantly referred to the Lady Gamecocks for short as Ladycocks. So the Ladycocks won the bathroom bill tournament. Oh, and I forgot to mention bathroom bill equals 71, just like March Madness equals 71. And the bracket came out on the 71st day of the year. That's why we said, okay, this is definitely what they're doing. NBA punished the Carolinas for the bathroom bill, but now college basketball will give them the reward, because oftentimes it's a give and take in these type of rituals. But again, just year after year, we've been able to use this knowledge systematically to often project the winners before the games are played, and we've done it in college and pro and so many other things. So again, trying to really help people understand this knowledge is lucrative in more ways than one. It's not about winning money off the gambling. What it's about is seeing how rigged the system is and disengaging from the matrix of misinformation and essentially all this stuff that's put out in the mainstream to steal your time and energy. So many people just put so much energy into sports, and they have such an emotional response, and it can totally make their day or it can totally break their day. And ultimately, this is ridiculous because these games are rigged, they're fixed, they're meant to manipulate the fans, and just to be able to break away from that. Imagine it. Imagine how many men every Sunday are just sitting on the couch, or actually, let's just say Saturday and Sunday, through football season, through their whole weekend, mostly just parked on their own couch, watching football games, when what they could be doing is a million different things. They could be learning a new skill. They could be out leading the revolution that needs to happen. There's a million things they could be doing, but they're using pretty much their only time off in the week to just sit there parked watching football games that, yes, are exciting and entertaining, but would they be as engaging if you realize just how fixed and rigged it was? And again, for all the people who think this isn't the case, like Big Al says, thank you for you, because if you guys had all come around like we had, the casinos and everything would have had to change up their system. And that's probably true. So, again, they say, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. Many will come, but few are chosen. Hermeticism teaches that most people just will never have the eyes to see. So anyway, tonight, all topics open, but since we are on Gematria Effect Sports, if you guys want to call in about March Madness, since it's the big pressing thing, please do. And I realize as we're coming up on the commercial break that what I forgot to do for this show was put up the right phone number. So I am changing the number on the screen right now. It is a call-in board, so it's first come, first serve. So if you do want to get your voice in on the show tonight, I suggest you call right now. And be patient. There could already be a big long line because a lot of veterans just know the number on Wednesday nights, and they know that I always forget to change the phone number because I'm a bit of an idiot. But if you do want to call in tonight, the number is 213-233-3998. Again, 213-233-3998. That number should be on the screen. And just remember, every Wednesday night when I'm on TFR, that's always the number. That number is not changing. That's the TFR radio station network number. And remember, if it's like a Thursday and I'm doing a live stream and that number is still on the screen, if you call into that number, you will connect to TFR, but you might connect to the host who's actually on the radio live. So sometimes on Thursdays, I forget to change the number too. I just need to make it part of my routine when I finish the show to change it back. But if you do want to call in now. It is a call board, so it's first come, first serve. The way I see it on my end is the order people called in, and I think there's only been one night in all the years of the show where I said, you know what, tonight I'm randomizing and just looking for new people. But you know what, you guys? Every week there's a ton of people who are on hold that have never had their voice on the show. And I know a lot of you regulars love to call in every week, and you know to call in first, and I appreciate all of you. But again, if you guys could just call in maybe every other week or every third week, it would let a lot of new people get in. Or if you are a veteran and you call in every week, I mean, you could just try to keep your calls real short each time, so we just keep it moving. But it's not that I don't appreciate you guys. It's just that every week there's a bunch of people that want to get in for the first time, but they're not veterans, so they don't know to call right in at the first minute and wait for the show. And with that said, before we go to commercial break, let's get our first call in. And let's see. Rambo's first in line. He's going to come right after the break. Let's go out to Alaska. Alaska, how you doing? Or something is totally wrong here. Hold on. I see that something is so wrong on my end. Bear with me 1 second here. For some reason, it disconnected me from the call board. Some nights it gets glitchy too. That's the one warning if you're not used to TFR. Some nights we got glitches. Okay, let's see if that fixes it. We want to be able to connect with the call board. Bear with me 1 second, Truth Seeker. Because that's how I connect to Rambo too. Huh. All right, there we go. Now it shows I'm connected. All right, let's go out to Canada. Canada, thanks for calling in.
Hey, Zach.
How you doing?
Can you hear me?
I hear you.
I'm doing good. Okay. I've been talking to Bryson and Sean, and they told me to call in because I'm in the music industry. I'm a rapper. I'm not going to say my name right now because I want to tell you a lot of information about the music industry and just to, not expose myself because it goes pretty deep. So, if you don't mind me, kind of explaining where I come from and how I know your information is definitely correct, because I've been seeing this my whole life, I've been in the music industry for over 10 years, more than that. And I've been noticing like so many things and how things didn't really make sense. And your information actually gave me proof to what's going on. And I can tell you, I've been set up by the numbers.
Excuse
by
me,
my producer.
Just to interrupt real quick, it's about to take us to a commercial break. Can you stay with us through the commercial break and then continue right after?
For sure.
Okay, we'll be right back, everybody. Sit tight.
Discover the extraordinary powers of intuitive healing with pain transmutation, a method of holistic healing for the human soul, body, mind, and emotions. If you are looking for answers and a deep understanding of how to help yourself and the people around you to live a happier, healthier life, this is the right place for you. Learn how to read your soul's history in the Akashic Records. Remove negative energy attachments from your astral body, and start the process of inner and outer pain transmutation. Join Pain Transmutation Community to get started on the path of intuitive healing. Change your energetic state, manifest new and exciting experiences, re-energize your life, and build inspiring connections with others in our community.
Hey folks, guess what the #1 phrase that Life Change Tea receives by email? You ready? We love this tea. We love this tea. Time after time, week after week, we love this tea. Life Change Tea gives you more energy, a beautiful cleansing, and fulfills its slogan perfectly. The tea that makes you go. So if you want to be on your health game, log on to getthetea.com and order Life Change Super Strength Tea. Packages come in a 1-month supply, and when you brew this stuff, wait until you see the results. Aren't we all about the results? And with a lot of people's health struggling, we can use a little bit of help. Doctors will tell you disease starts in the gut. So log on to getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Be our next email saying, I love this tea. I love this tea. Get the tea at getthetea.com. Helping America one tea bag at a time.
Fear is the mighty killer. Fear is the little death. This is Uncle Walt from the Ironworks. Josh, Corey, and I have chosen to look at life with no fear. No fear of the unknown. No fear of questions about the supposedly well-known. No fear of ridicule for thinking outside the familiar fool's lines. No fear of the boot on the neck of those refusing the party line. No fear of taking on those so convinced of their beliefs they would sooner drink the Kool-Aid than believe they've been fools made. In this world filled with me too, cattle think, can truth's protective layers be peeled back to show the tender juice of pink? Are we all just grist for the mill? Souls sold against our will, or is that just how it feels? When you're filled to the rim with TV so fear-filled and grim, break clear of the fear right here. Tuesdays and Fridays at 2 a.m. on TFR. Josh and I and you will hammer out the impurities of technology-driven groupthink, fold in a dash of logic, and quench it all with a bit of absurdity. The Ironworks. Break free of the fear.
No hate, no hype, no fear.
You're listening to Truth Frequency Radio.
We are TFR.
All right, True Seeker, we're back. Apologies for the commercial break. Again, if you're new to TFR, there are short commercial breaks. I have no control over them, but they're about every 30 minutes, and mostly they're station-sponsored commercials. And we've just been joined by a guest, if you're just getting here. Before the break, woman called in from Canada, Rambo, I know you're out there. Please be patient, Rambo. You're going to get your full segment, but just since we have a very unique caller here, I think a lot of people would like to hear what she has to say. But we just had a young woman call in, and she says she's been in the entertainment industry. She's a female rapper, if I'm not mistaken. And she's saying that finding this knowledge has been helpful to her because she's seen all sorts of suspicious stuff go on. And she's saying that, yes, what we are documenting is proof of what she's going to talk more about right now. So thank you for reaching out to us, and you got the floor, friend.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Yeah, like I was saying, so I was set up by my producer through Gematria. And I was also set up, and I was all over the news, arrested, all over Canada. And when I found the information and all your work, I was like, and I broke it down. Like, I learned how to decode really quickly once I saw your work, because I'm like, I need to know. So, and then that's how I figured out what you're saying is correct, because I learned how to do it on my own. So if you can learn how to do something on your own, then, and you don't need somebody else, it's valid information, right? So how my producer did it. So I was signed to Sony Red. So Sony Red is like the urban side, they call it, of Sony, and it's just distribution. So it's like not like a full record deal, it's like a distribution deal. So I have full creative control over what I do. But before that, I met my producer, who's a Grammy Award winner, on Facebook. He just, like at the time, like in hindsight, I can see that it could have been like set up, but like at the time I didn't think so. So he hit me up, and I'm like a young artist, and I'm like, wow, a Grammy Award winner is like wanting to work with me. This is crazy, right? And he's like, yeah, I saw your work, and it's like really amazing, and like I want to help you. And I just did mixtapes. I did like 3 mixtapes, sold them on my own, got rid of 5,000 on the street, just did my own thing. And then he was like, well, let me help you, because there's a way to do music for the mainstream. So then, which is true, there's a formula to write music that way. So he was helping me. So he would give me the tracks with the titles of the tracks, right? So I would write all the verses, but he would give me also the concept. So like as an artist, having a producer say this is a concept and this is kind of what people want to hear, and this will hit well the mainstream, is kind of like, to me, I'm like, okay, he's helping me, right? But now when I look back, okay, so I have 4 examples of the tracks, but this is one of the examples. My track was called I Don't Care. The Sony deal came afterwards. Sony put this one out. It's called I Don't Care. It has the 44 Kill, 55 Satan, 189 Rituals, which is also a musician, and 154 Ritual Sacrifice. He told me in this video, which I shot myself because I thought it was a cool concept, but he told me you should have it where you get kidnapped and then you get killed at the end. And then you kind of resurrect, like in the fire. It's kind of like a phoenix. And then I'm looking at the Gematria that this is a ritual sacrifice. Then I have other tracks. The other track I have called, it's not even a word. I always wondered why he came up with it. It's called Willy Bum Bum, right? So I just took it. I'm super creative, writing all the verses. It has a Gematria of 47, 70, 137, 160. 47 times suicide, beast authority. St. Louis, where he's from. The 160 has Toronto, Ontario, where I'm from, also has Canadian, also Brotherhood. And then we have the 70, which is suicide, secret. And then the 137, government, authority, mind control. And then my other one, Good Without You, is about domestic abuse. And then I kind of made it for like women going through domestic abuse and then domestic violence. He told me the concept, which is 74, 61, 218, 160. 74, the Masonic, we have Jewish, we have St. Louis again, we have rapper, where he's from, I'm the rapper. 61, we have time, church, mind control, obey, fake death, sacrifice. 218, then we have, in there we have smash hit record, and he told me this will be my smash hit record. We also have Masonic media, and then it goes back to the 160, which was also Toronto, Ontario, and Canadian. So I have so many examples of this, and the weird thing is I shot this video where I went through all the things where I went through domestic violence In my house, I shot that. 3 months later, or not even 2 months later, I met a person who did that exact same thing to me.
Huh.
So I'm telling people, like, what you do in art, because Manly P. Hall says that as well, what you do in art is a ritual. And somehow, if the numbers line up, that can happen. And sometimes people are pushing that. So I asked him, do you know about Gematria? And he told me I heard about it. And he's like, yeah, I heard about people doing Gematria music, right? And I'm like, really? Because he changed his name years ago. And I'm not going to say what his name is, but he changed it, which I thought was weird. Why would you change your name if you're a Grammy Award winner? You know, you already have credits under there. His name that he changed his name to equals 3 out of the 4 ciphers to hip-hop mogul, which is exactly what he wanted to become.
That's interesting.
And I asked him, I'm like, what made you change your name? Because I'm just trying to ask, like, trying to get information. And he's like, I just felt like it was something I needed to be. Like, I need to be myself. I need to become who I really am now. And I just felt like, I don't know, I just felt inside of me. And I'm like, what? Like, he had no straight answer. And then I told him the Gematria, I'm like, well, you know what? It's kind of weird because, you know, if we break it down like this and all the tracks, like, it's weird, right? And he's like, how did you find out this information? And I'm like, this information is out there. Like, people know. Like, I didn't tell her. I was like, people know. It's ancient information. And he's just like, huh. And then he came back to me the day later. He's like, I have new tracks for you. He's like, you ready to work? And so many suspicious things have happened. And I can tell you, like, the rituals that go on, even before that, like you guys were talking about the weekend and the Super Bowl rituals. Okay, before, when Nikki was, like, blowing up, but she wasn't to the extent that she is now, I don't know even how this happened, because people, like, my Gematria lines up. That's why people target me. My real name and my rapper name line up with so many things, right? In ritual, my real name lines up with lunar sacrifice, almost all the right Gematria. So I had a call. Somehow I got to the weekend's manager, and then he said he wanted to manage me, right? And then I just had my mixtapes and stuff, and I was like, oh, wow, like, he wants to manage me. He's like, yeah, meet me. I was in Calgary, and he was like, meet me in Miami. So I took my last money. I'm like, I'm going to Miami. I'm going to make it. And then I go there, and he's like, I'm staying in the hotel. He's like, yeah, I'm just going to pull up to the hotel. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird, but, like, whatever. And then I got in the elevator, and I'm very intuitive, and the energy was so dark. It was just something was going on. I felt it. And we go upstairs, and I wrote on the plane. I was like, I'm going to write a whole mixtape before I even get there. And then I give it to him, and he's like, listen, that's not how the music industry works. I'm going to tell you how the music industry works, okay? And he was there signing Belly. He's Canadian. He's signed to Rock Nation now. At the time, he was going to sign to Cash Money. And he was there starting at Birdman's house. And he was like, let me tell you how the industry works. You don't write your own music. Nobody writes their own music, so you can chill on that. I'm going to get you writers. I'm going to get you working with, like, he just started naming everybody or whatever. He's like, tomorrow we're going to go to Birdman's house. I'm going to introduce you. Tonight we're going to go out. You're going to meet, blah, whatever. And then he's like, listen, I'm going to sign you to a 5-year deal. I'm going to give you $1 million. But, you know, like, you're going to have to sleep with me. And so they, like, that's how they do it in the ritual. And then they say, well, I'm going to bring you to Birdman house tomorrow. And then they end up and they set you up in this kind of ritual. And then if your numbers line up, then they use your numbers for these rituals. So that's what I'm saying. Like, the music industry is not what people think. Like, it's definitely not what people think. And then also, I have a friend who is set up all by the numbers, a rapper I grew up with, and you can look him up. John James. John James, he lives in Calgary. We grew up together. He moved to LA. He married a Playboy playmate. He died. All his numbers lined up to Evel Knievel. They did the whole thing to Evel because he would do stunts. Like, he did a lot of different stunts, and he died, they say, falling off a plane, just shooting his music video. And he never, like, and then you can see it. But what I'm trying to figure out is he did videos before, and then it was almost like he knew he was going to die. So I don't know if they fake these people's deaths, actually. And some people fake it, and then they become a different role after that, or they disappear.
Yeah.
But it's very interesting. Like it's not what people think, you know?
Sure. Well, I really appreciate all of you sharing all that information with us. And when did this happen to John James? How long ago was this?
October 2018.
So not that
And
long
you'll see he
ago.
was everywhere on Billboard and everything.
Okay. So I'm just remembering other events in that time. That was just shortly after the Mac Miller death, which was big hip hop news at the time.
Yeah, and it's really odd because at the funeral you could see his managers and everything. They said they shot videos and like these are the people he grew up with. There was no one there he grew up with. And the thing is, because there's other weird things that happen, like when you sign a contract, because I was just offered a contract on December 30th. I was offered $350,000 plus $100,000 for a car and $50,000 up front. The same day, my uncle died at 66 years old in a mobile home fire. And so sometimes things like line up and you don't know what's going on. You know, there's some kind of like, I don't know if that's like the cult side or I don't know if someone's like programming that in, but a lot of weird things happen.
Indeed. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that about your uncle. So, in hindsight, you feel like that was a coincidence, or do you feel like something nefarious went on there that day without you even really realizing it?
I don't know. I think it could. Sometimes it could actually happen, and it was an accident. But then they put it on the news, like line the numbers up. But it's weird to get a contract as well, like on the same day, and it's just. And what I was saying about the contract is, in there's a life insurance policy on you, right? So if people don't want to believe the numbers part, they have to believe the money part. Because say they sign me for, and the insurance policy is $1 million, they can sign me for less than $1 million and get rid of me, and then they're going to make the money.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
So that's kind of how it works as well, right?
It very well might. That's what I've been wondering, if there's life insurance policies on all these young entertainers. So.
Oh, there is. You have to sign when you sign a contract, there's a huge policy on you. And then they also ask, like, you have to submit to, like, a physical and all these different things in order to even have that kind of contract. Because it's because of the amount of money, right? But also, it's like, that's how they own you. Like,
right.
They really own you. They have everything about you.
Yeah, you see
and
how...
these artists are not free.
It explains all the motivation in the world. Yeah, if your god is money, then it explains all the motivation in the world. So.
Yeah, that's why they're signing these young artists, or some of them are just to make money because they know artists don't last that long, right? So it's just to sign a young artist and to get them off, and then you have the insurance money as well. Like it helps a lot of people, not just the numbers, right? So if people don't believe the numbers, at least believe that people are getting a payoff from this, you know?
So I got to ask a question. I really appreciate you doing this. Are you worried about making this phone call tonight, or maybe you're doing this because you feel like maybe your number could be up?
At this point, I'm just kind of pissed off, you know, because like I know the industry is like all fake. Like everything I went for is fake. So then at this point, it's like, well, what am I going to do? Like, I love what you guys are doing. I love that you guys are spreading the truth. And then when I saw your stream, too, you're like, oh, wow, I just need a model, and I need, like, who's, like, a stripper, like, somebody on here that could just push this information. I'm like, well, I'm a published model. I used to be a stripper before COVID. I was like, I want to help, but I want to be safe at the same time, right?
Indeed, yeah.
So
I'd worry about your safety. That's what I would worry about. I would worry about your safety if you did that. But I appreciate that. So.
Yeah, because I know what you guys are doing is like it's, and more people need to know this because so many artists. There's so many of these even smaller labels that are manipulating artists because these smaller labels are linked to the bigger ones, and then they're doing some weird things too. Like it's just that people need to believe this because and a lot of people do. I've sent your information to a lot of people, and believe it or not, a lot of people in jail like your information.
Well, that doesn't surprise me at all. That doesn't surprise me at all. That's good to know, though. I appreciate that.
Yeah, because a lot of people that I know who ended up in the system, and then they're sitting there, and then I start telling them, it's like they already know. They're like, oh yeah, I understand that, and I'm like, okay, well you guys need to read this book, and then I'm like, wow, that's great, because if people can learn the knowledge, then they won't be caught up in the system, is what I'm trying to say, and then your knowledge helps people in other ways that maybe like people didn't even think of, you know?
Indeed, indeed. By the way, for any Canadian rappers in Toronto, I'd be real careful in that city. You guys just turned 187 years old on March 6th. And 187, of course, is associated with homicide. And March 6th, 3-6, if you do the base ciphers in Gematria, the alphabetic order forwards and backwards with the rules of numerology, it equals 36 both ways. 36 both ways. So, yeah, I'd be careful because, again, it's very clear that the Jesuits have a lot of influence in the world of hip-hop. And Society of Jesus is 187, and IHS and their logo is 36. So they just turned 187 on 3-6 in 3-6 City. And Drake, the rapper, refers to Toronto as the 6th. Of course, the square root of 36 is 6. So, and I heard he had an EP come out today. I'm going to have to look into that because tomorrow Drake plays in college basketball.
No, there's a lot of things, even in rap battle. Rap battle is completely like, even those small little rap battles that people see, like URL, Smack, all of those, like people are doing so many different rituals, like satanic rituals. Like there's a guy like Bobby Hemmett that a lot of people follow, and he's basically like the New Age Black Aleister Crowley, and that's the people that they're following. And then they learn Gematria this way too. Like it's like people really need to look up, like even the Mason lodges, you can look up their information and go to their website and they'll show you that they know Gematria. They show you that they know all this information and it's right there. Just like Zach breaks down the 666 and all that, that's like their information they put out, right? So imagine all the stuff that they do know that they're not telling us, right? So, and this is the information that like, that you're putting out, you know? So yeah, it's just people need to just like learn this. It could really help them in life, especially if you're an artist.
Indeed, I agree, and I hope it serves you well going forward. So, and I really appreciate you taking the time to speak out and share this information because I guess that's the bravery that most people don't have. So, thank you.
Yeah, well, you have nothing to lose, you know. I'd rather help people because you're so, in life, you're here to serve, right? And like, everyone in the music industry is always superficial. They're here to just get whatever they can and put out pictures of their face and everything like that. Like, you can't die tomorrow and say that everyone thought you were hot and that was your legacy. Like, how does that even matter? Everyone thought you were rich. It's like, well, how much you gave the world, that matters. So that's why I like your community. It seems like everybody's kind of about that, like, so, like, I definitely support you guys 100%.
Well, I appreciate it very much. And if there's anything else you want to say, you got the floor. We got a few minutes until the break.
What else was I going to say? Yeah, also, like, when I was set up on the news and stuff, it happened on the new moon. And then I guess the new moon, there's a lot of different sacrifices that happen on new moons as well. And that's like a big thing that I was looking at. Probably somebody else could definitely go into that better.
I know why that would be. It actually makes sense. Because, okay, on the night of the new moon, that's the darkest sky that there is. So it's as dark as it gets at night when there's the new moon. Because the new moon's when there's pretty much nothing in the sky. It's hard to see but a sliver of the moon. So it's the darkest night. So when you think about things in terms of light and dark, like all the symbolism, good and evil, you know, if evil rules in the night, well, of course they're going to rule on the darkest night. So, yeah, that thing about the new moon has to do with that.
Yeah, definitely. And certain people have told me also that were in and out, like, of jail. Someone asked me, they're like, it's so weird because I only get released on the 12th or the 21st. And I'm like, oh, really? That makes a lot of sense, you know?
Sure.
It's like everything is lined up in different ways. Like, you wouldn't even think it was lined up, and it is. But also, like, people need to understand that this information, you can use it to line up your own life as well. Because, like, a lot of people, if you look into, like, ancient occult knowledge and stuff, they're just saying that the way our 1 and 2 and everything placement is wrong. And so if you switch over the placement and start with a 0, just like binary code works, and then you make it into a binary code without zeros and just ones, you can actually translate that into making good things in your life happen. So it's pretty crazy. Just like synchronicities happen in your life every day, it's because you're connected to something.
Indeed.
So I don't know how exactly they do it. They probably have, like, I know they do rituals in the music industry. I live next to the Weeknd's, like, video guy. I went, he invited me in, and then he had the bassinet there. On top, he had all the Weeknd's gold plaques. He had a bed with, like, all these, kind of looks like those bed nets or whatever, like nets for bugs and stuff, and it's weird. And he told me, like, when he would hook up, his uncle was a mason, and he told me after his uncle died, the day after, he got all the money in his bank. And at the time, I was just like, oh, like, maybe that was inherited. But now I think, I'm like, whoa, maybe that was, like, something else.
Sure.
And they said, like, they used that money, and then he moved to California. But I would always hear this chanting music, like, every time we walked by the condo. It was, like, chanting music. And everyone would notice it, too, because he was doing rituals. Like, they do, like, they're big into Satanism, like, huge. So they're always doing rituals. He told me, like, he would hook up with girls and, like, cut their wrists and, like, sleep with them like that, you know, not to get graphic. But it's all rituals.
Crazy. Yeah, I
So
can't even imagine how you get into that.
Celebrities gotta watch out.
Oh man, people are crazy. I don't know how that becomes your thing. It's like, here, let me cut you first. Like, what? Oh my god.
Yeah, no, that's what he says he likes to do. And if you look into the occult, that's like a ritual. It's not just like a fetish, you know?
Sure.
It's when a guy has a bassinet in there, like, he's definitely, like, doing it for different reasons, you know?
Indeed. Yeah, this conversation is just really making me think about things. I'm just thinking, like, you're bringing up the Weeknd, and I'm thinking, like, it's like everybody's music starts more innocent and then gets weirder with time, but just, you know, him doing Super Bowl 55 and how he flashes Satan at his concerts. I just wonder if there is something, because like you said, we are all connected. It's like when you do psychedelics, you really see how connected the world is. Mm-hmm. Maybe if, like, you're a big fan of the Weeknd, maybe you're even, like, pure in heart and you're a good person, but somehow being a fan of his, like, once he essentially sells out to the entity that many people know as Satan, I wonder if just, like, being a fan of that, just somehow you start channeling his sell-out satanic energy, if it works that way somehow. I'm just wondering how the world got to be the way it is, and a lot of it does have to do with idol worship and whatnot, but it could be something like that. So.
And the frequencies, within the music, they're putting the frequencies in there. So just like you listen to, like, binaural beats, and they'll have different frequencies to program your mind to get on, like, love frequency and different things like that. They put those frequencies in the music, and we could hear it. That's why it's, like, such a ritual, like certain music, and that's why a strip club music is very big, because a strip club is a ritual, and then it gets people, it puts people in a different state of mind when you combine it with liquor, because liquor is a spirit, like, when you drink different to a certain extent, you are inviting spirits within your body, and mixed with the music, it's a ritual.
Sure, and we do refer to alcohol as spirits, so yeah. Again, words, language, spelling. Well, you are a very amazing caller, and I'm sure a lot of people have listened all the years. You'll be one of the most memorable callers, and I do really appreciate you sharing that story. And we actually do still have 2 minutes until the commercial break if there's more you want to get out there.
And there's also, like, someone posted it on Free to Find Truth. I saw that, and then about the Gematria and music. And that's another thing, too, because you can take, like, a word, and then you can break it down to Gematria. Then I can take those, and then I can plug it, because I can compose music, right? So I could take those notes, and then I could plug it in and then make a sound. And then because everything, not only does everything, like, have a number, a letter, a shape, it also has a sound. And so they're plugged, I believe, because I'm going to take all the mainstream songs, because someone told me on the website, like, which songs to do. I'm going to take it, I'm going to break it down, and I'm going to find out what's actually, like, in there. Because I haven't seen anyone do that. And I bet you we're going to find a lot of different things programmed in there, because when you mix the frequency with that, you can create a whole bunch of different things.
Indeed.
And I heard people doing bringing, like, not like you can see a video of Kodak Black and it's up there, and then he's with not a pastor, he's with a Jewish rabbi, and he comes in there and he's blessing him, and they're in this condo, and he's like, whoa, like take your hands off of me, like he was like trying to touch, and he starts speaking in Hebrew, and he starts doing, and he's doing a ritual to them, and I bet you that's what happens too, because I've heard that they'll go in the studio and then they'll have the track and then they'll do some kind of ritual to bring it into the track. Like, I know it sounds so crazy, but it's all energy.
Sure.
And so whatever you have that energy, put it into the track, and then that's what makes, because it's programming. Like, if I write a song and I think over and over, you're going to be thinking about that forever. And if I say it in the right thing.
We'll be right back. Commercials. Sit tight, everybody.
Hi, my name is Ella, and I'm 10 years old. I'm one of the millions of children born to parents suffering from the sheeple virus. Symptoms include the inability to think for oneself, the attention span of a goldfish, and a strong belief in government and the mainstream media. It is estimated that 1 out of every 2 children are being raised by parents infected with the sheeple virus. But there is a cure. For as little as 19 cents per day, you can become a TFR supporter and help children like me get their daily dose of truth. Together, we will make sure every child has protection from deception.
A surge of children. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. The White House working to accommodate the record numbers of unaccompanied minors coming into the U.S.
Press Secretary Jen Psaki says the president continues to urge migrants not to go to the southern border right now, but kids continue to cross. And the goal is to care for them as best they can.
We look and see if they have a phone number in their pocket so we can call the family member and get them to those family members as quickly as possible. These are the steps that we're taking at this point in time. Our policy continues to be, we're not going to send a 10-year-old back across the border. That was the policy of the last administration.
Psaki says they want to handle these children humanely, even as Republicans criticize the Biden White House for what they call escalation of a border crisis. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott says these children can become victims of cartels or human traffickers.
The thought of any child suffering at the hands of human traffickers is completely unacceptable.
And Abbott is asking the administration to allow state officials to be allowed to go into the federal facilities to be able to question the children. The suspect in last night's shootings at 3 day spas in Georgia facing 8 counts of murder.
After interviewing Robert Long overnight, police say his motivation was sex addiction. The first shooting took place at 5 p.m. in Ackworth, Georgia, 30 miles north of Atlanta, at Young's Asian Massage Parlor. 5 people were shot, 4 of them killed, 2 Asian women. 50 minutes later, a shooting at Gold Spa Massage in Atlanta. 3 Asian women found dead. While on scene, police got a call for another shooting across the street. At another Asian massage parlor, another woman killed.
Fox's Steve Harrigan in Atlanta. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration sending a team to Michigan to investigate a Tesla crash into a police vehicle. America is listening to Fox News.
This is Truth Frequency Radio.
The wicked one, obviously under heavy Masonic influence.
This is not a valid Condition orange. Condition orange. Situation Delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
We have to create culture. Don't watch TV. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal. more for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. Think for yourself. Question story.
This code has been compromised.
All right, so welcome back, everybody. We got 2 hours left. Rambo is about to get on, but we still have our special caller tonight who phoned in to share with us her story from behind the scenes in the entertainment industry. And just before we move on to Rambo, is there any parting message you want to get out there? You got interrupted by the commercial break.
Oh yeah, no problem. No, I just want to say thank you for listening. Like, I appreciate it because like maybe people can see that this is actually like a real thing. Like I would have posted the news article of me, but it has my real name and everything like that. But just to say, like, 2 other people that were in the article that I've never met who were arrested somewhere else. One of them has the exact gematria of Chestermere where I was arrested. The other person has the exact gematria of Toronto where I'm from. And there were so many different things that line up. So, like, these things do happen. Like, it did happen. It wasn't like a fake news story. But sometimes they do set you up. And then all my charges were dropped a year later. Like, just completely dropped.
Okay.
So, like, sometimes, like, if you're in the industry, it can happen, you know?
Sure. Yeah, if you ever want to share more with us about this or come back on as a guest and let us know more, I think people would love to hear more from you. If you could email me, my email's numbergamesbook@gmail.com. If you just say you were the you just shared your story about the industry, I will know exactly who it is. And if you want to come back on as a guest anytime, you're welcome. You just let me know.
Yeah, for sure. I'm definitely going to email you.
Okay.
I don't want to take up all your time. You got, like, good callers, so I'll be listening for sure.
All right. Well, thank you so much. You have a good night.
Thank you, you too.
All right. Take care.
Okay, bye.
And for all the people in the chat saying that they don't believe her story, again, I'm not saying that her story is real and not to believe anything, but go out and do some homework. She gave you some names. She gave you some things to look into. She hinted here and there, but I understand it. I mean, we're in an age where if you put out your identity, there's all sorts of people listening who will harass you. And trust me, I know all about it. I've been dealing with harassment for like 6 years straight, at least. And so, I mean, if you're tough, you can obviously live with it, but, you know, who wants to deal with harassment all the time? So, you know, you can look into what she said, and, again, we need more people to do that. We need more people to do that. It didn't sound like she was saying that she was, like, at the top of the Billboard charts, but, she, you know, she had an insight into the industry. She got some, you know, nice contracts, not, you know, mega star, millions and millions of dollars. But hey, man, if somebody's offering you $300,000 to make music, that means you're pretty talented. And I think a lot of people would love to make music for $300,000 per album deal or however it works. So anyway, I appreciate the story. And without further ado, we're going to go to Rambo, who's normally with us right after the first 30 minutes. Rambo, thanks for your patience. And don't feel rushed tonight. You have as long as you need, my friend.
Thank you again. You're very generous with your platform.
What do you think? What do you think about her story?
It's interesting. It's credible. I can't say whether it's true or not. How would I?
Right.
You know, how would I know if it's true or not? I mean, but it's perfectly credible. What part of the story is not credible?
Especially with what we talk about here in documents. So we need more people like that to speak out. And she's not the first. There's been other people who've called in over the years who also seem like smaller artists who got smaller contracts who've hinted here and there. But that's the most outspoken anyone's been. And she did share some things about herself. So I'm sure if anybody wanted to do some homework, they could figure out, you know, who she is. But Yeah, I just want to make that point because for the people in the chat who are like, "Oh, I don't believe this story," why are you guys even writing something like that? Do some research and then come to a conclusion. If you don't think the story is true, then say why. Don't just write, "I don't believe it." I mean, that's discouraging. Maybe somebody's in the chat and her story is real, and they're thinking about sharing their story, and then they're like, "Well, look, I mean, she's just getting mocked by people in the chat." And I didn't see many people doing that, but just all the people out there who just spew venom and hate and discredit. Like, there's even people accusing you of being a shill. It's just like, why would you accuse Rambo of being a shill? He just calls in and shares his time with us, gives us an interesting thing. And when Rambo makes a mistake here or there, I don't think it's intentional. And sometimes it's not even a mistake that people are complaining about. But just go out and look into what he's saying. I mean, it's 95+% of it's all going to be there for sure every single time. So. Anyway, I'll be quiet now. Rambo, you got the floor, friend.
Yeah, but being attacked is inevitable. I mean, who in the truth movement has not been attacked or accused of being a shill? Can you name one person who hasn't been accused of being a shill?
Yeah, this is true.
I mean, if you're not called a shill, you're probably a very minor person in the movement. Maybe you have your blog, maybe you do good decos, but you're not considered significant enough to be considered a shill. It's kind of ironic. Once you're considered a shill, it means you've arrived at a certain level. And, thanks to you sharing your platform, I guess, if I'm considered a shill, then I've reached that level where
you're having an impact. Indeed, you are. You're absolutely having an impact. So.
Yeah, if I'm small and insignificant, nobody would call me a shill.
Right. Right. Yeah, and everyone knows you're the real star here, Rambo. Every night you're just so humble, but we all know every Wednesday night the brightest star is Rambo. So again, I apologize for making you wait so long and derailing the conversation. So I'm just gonna zip my lips now.
No, that's fine. This is your platform. I mean, you're very kind, but this is your platform. But it was you talked about relevant. It was a relevant conversation that you brought up. So my latest offering is based on an incident that happened just yesterday. And here's some synchronicity here. She said she's from Ontario. Well, this incident that I'm doing my decode in is from Ontario, California, a suburb of Los Angeles. So how's that for synchronicity?
Interesting.
There was there was an explosion in the suburb of Ontario, California yesterday. And so the title of my post is The Ontario, California Explosion, the Jesuit Order, and Vulcan, the Roman god of fire. So, as I said yesterday, there was an explosion in the suburb of Ontario, which is 35 miles east of downtown Los Angeles. The key there is 35 miles. Well, I'll get to that. So I put a quote in here, a very famous quote from St. Ignatius of Loyola. I see some Jesuits who deny he ever said it, but I've looked, I consider all arguments. Some Jesuits say he never said it, but they don't really, I haven't seen much of an argument against it. I see other Jesuits who do embrace it. I think they say at Georgetown graduation. So it pretty much is his quote, and it's out there. So it's out there for a reason. Go forth and set the world on fire.
I know, I'm sorry. This is where Gematria also becomes relevant, because that phrase in the most pure cipher is 144, just like Jesuit order is 144. And we know they do rituals around this number all the time, just like the simulation at Georgetown 144 days before the election, where Biden wins in a close election and Trump refuses to step down, which leads to chaos and physical altercations and death in the streets of America, which was essentially the January 6th simulation. But yeah, that's again where Gematria really plays its part, because it shows, okay, that phrase, it's encoded, and you guys are definitely known for encoding the things you do. Okay, I'm rezipping.
Yeah, no problem. The Roman Empire never died. It simply adopted a new facade. The Vatican and the United States of America are manifestations of Rome. Now, if Rome is still in power, in occulted form, then it stands to reason that the gods of Rome are still being venerated. The fact that the United States has adopted two of the most vivid symbols of Rome, the eagle and the fasces, and Washington's D.C.'s moniker is Rome on the Potomac, and the United States Senate occupies Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C., the way the Roman Senate occupied Capitoline Hill, and the Lincoln Memorial being a replica of the Temple of Zeus in Olympia, Greece, Zeus/Jupiter being the chief deity of Greece and Rome. The Vatican venerates Jupiter in the guise of Saint Peter. The temple to the elite chief deities of Rome, Jupiter, Juno, and Minerva, collectively known as the Capitoline Triad, was also located on the hallowed Capitoline Hill. Throughout modern history, but especially recently, as the dark occulted Rome-influenced elite's vision for the world comes closer to fruition, we are seeing a spate of worldwide massive fires and explosions. For example, Australia went up in unprecedented flames from 2019 to 2020. Equally unprecedented wildfires have devastated especially California and Arizona in recent years. Historic urban fires have erupted purportedly from police brutality protests across the United States in 2020. Epic explosions of mass destruction have been experienced in Beirut, Lebanon, on August 4th, 2020. You covered that at length. As well as in Equatorial Guinea in West Africa. And this one, you covered that as well on March 7th. That was just 9 days ago, 2021. And I left a link to your post on that explosion, urban explosion. And just yesterday, March 16th, 2021, a massive explosion in the Los Angeles, California suburb of Ontario rocked that neighborhood. This was blamed on fireworks. The Beirut explosion was also blamed on fireworks. Fires and fireworks are directly associated with the Jesuit order, primarily through the infamous 5th November 1605 attempted coup of the British government and the assassination attempt of King James I by Jesuits in a plan known as the Gunpowder Plot. It was also known as the Jesuit treason. A major Jesuit conspirator was Guy Fawkes, and the Jesuit treason, aka Gunpowder Plot, is commemorated annually in Britain on the 5th of November on Guy Fawkes Day, also known as Guy Fawkes Night, also known as Fireworks Night or Bonfire Night. Further association between the Jesuit order and fires is the famous quote attributed to the founder of the Jesuit order, Saint Ignatius of Loyola: "Go forth and set the world on fire." Because the gods of ancient Rome are still being venerated, we need to look at which Roman god ruled the realm of fire. That would be Vulcan, the son of Jupiter and Juno. Now, your latest post was about Elliot Page, who used to be Ellen Page, and she's most famous for the movie Juno, and at the end of that movie, she gives birth. Now, if she's Juno, and Juno gives birth, Juno gave birth to two sons in mythology. One was Mars, the other was Vulcan, so I think it's appropriate that I'm doing this right after you just did a post on Elliot Page. So the Juno is, she's apparently is very ritualistically significant when you think of Juno and the significance of these Roman gods. And Vulcan. So at the end of the movie, she gave birth. I did a decode on that, and I said very likely that the birth was Mars. Well, Vulcan was the other birth of Juno, so Elliot Page, Ellen Page, is directly relevant to this. So yeah, the son of Jupiter and Juno is Vulcan, the god of fire. Remember that Jupiter and Juno are elite deities honored on the sacred Capitoline Hill. Vulcan, known as the god of fire, was also the god of the forge and metalworking. Vulcan is also the god of volcanoes, from which the term gets its name. Volcano comes from the Roman Vulcan. So he's also known as Vulcan, V-U-L-C-A-N, but also Volcan, V-O-L-C-A-N. Vulcan/Volcan is honored on the holy day of Vulcanalia, which is primarily August 23rd. We may know that as Kobe Bryant's birthday, Kamala Harris's father's birthday, Donald J. Harris. Also, River Phoenix. There were some celebrities born on August 23rd. Well, August 23rd is Vulcanalia. Vulcanalia was also observed on May 23rd. There were actually two observations. May 23rd was another day that Vulcanalia was observed, and that's very relevant because May 23rd in a leap year is the 144th day of the year. And you were just talking about 144. And set the world on fire, and then the god of fire is honored on the 144th day of the year, May 23rd. It all lines up. So I think we're getting to the bottom of what is at the heart of these rituals, the esoteric root. It's the Roman gods, in this case, Vulcan. Another name for Vulcan is Mulciber. I guess that's how you pronounce it, Mulciber. M-U-L-C-I-B-E-R, Mulciber. That's another name for Vulcan in Rome. In ancient Greece, because the Roman gods were inherited from Greece, in ancient Greece, a Vulcan was Hephaestus. Are these fires and explosions possibly occult homage by the Jesuit order to Vulcan/Hephaestus? Well, we'll analyze through an esoteric lens yesterday's explosion in the California suburb of Ontario. And I have links to most of the articles, mostly from ABC. And here the headline was, Ontario fireworks explosion. 2 cousins ID'd after being killed in blast. Crews working to clear 80 properties of debris. So it is reported that 2 men and a dog died in the explosion or ensuing fires. One of the victims has been named as Cesar Paez. His first name is Cesar. That's the Spanish version of Caesar. Caesar is a Roman reference, especially relevant since Roman emperor/dictator Julius Caesar famously died on the Ides of March, which is March 15th. Cesar Paez is reported dead the day after the Ides of March. So go figure that. His name is Caesar. He died the day after the Ides of March. I mean, if somebody really did that, I mean, I don't want to be insensitive, but it is interesting how this is all lining up to these Roman narratives. And if you look at the gematria of Vulcan, the Roman god of fire, and compare it with Cesar, C-E-S-A-R, it is a super match across 3 out of 4 base ciphers, Cesar and Vulcan. Interesting. And the 35 is the number of Vulcan. So as I said, Cesar sums to 35, as does Vulcan, sum to 35. Vulcan is the god of blacksmiths. The trade of blacksmithing, while blacksmith sums to 35. Vulcan is the god of volcanoes. Volcano sums to 35. Volcanic lava is known as magma. Magma sums to 35. Vulcan is a fire god. Fire god sums to 35. The Jesuit order that venerates Roman gods and is associated with fires is Catholic, which sums to 35. To light a fire is to ignite. Ignite sums to 35. Ontario, California is 35 miles east of downtown Los Angeles. 35 miles is 56 kilometers. And this community knows the importance of 56 to the Jesuit order, so that works out perfectly for them. It's 35 miles and 56 kilometers. The Beirut, Lebanon explosion of August 4th, 2020 occurred on a date that left 149 days in the year. 149 is the 35th prime number. So there's 35 again with the Lebanon explosion. Now remember that the Beirut, Lebanon explosion, just like Ontario, California explosion, is blamed on fireworks. One of the two people reported to have died as a result of the explosion is Cesar Paez. His full name, Cesar Paez, sums to 149, which is the 35th prime. Now, ABC reports, they have an eyewitness report, and the eyewitness's name, most people don't want to put their names out there, but here's a name that they put out there. Arlene Fierro, F-I-E-R-O. I didn't look into the etymology of Fierro, but come on, just look at that name. We're talking about a fire, and her name is Fierro. So I have not had time to look in the etymology. Maybe someone can do it. Fierro, very suspect name there. So what do you think the Gematria Fierro is? It's 35. Now, there's a photograph here of the explosion, and the photograph is taken at the corner of Francis Street, and I'll get to that. Interesting name, Francis Street. At the corner of Francis Street where it happened, and Bonita Avenue. Bonita Ave, with Avenue abbreviated, AVE, sums to 35. The Ontario, California incident is being labeled the Southern California fireworks explosion, a phrase that sums to 511 and 461. 511 is like the date 5/11, 5th November. 461 is the 89th prime. Vulcan sums to 89. So that's California, Southern California fireworks explosion. That's what it's being labeled as.
Rambo,
Again,
I gotta unzip my lips again. I'm sorry, I have to. Okay, so religion equals 89, and the gospel is 89 chapters, the story of Jesus, and the Catholics worship on Sunday, and there's all the connections with 93 in the language and Jesus and the sun being 93 million miles away, and the 930th chapter of the Bible being where the Christian part begins, Matthew 1:1, and Adam lives to 930, and Jesus is crucified between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m., and in 2012 they said his crucifixion's April 12th, the 93rd day of the year, and again he's the Son of God, and the sun in the sky of God is said to be 93 million miles away. And again, triclavianism equals 93, the three nails that are in the Jesuit logo, which is of the sun. So I'm just thinking, okay, fire god, sun god, ending your prayers with amen, which is an Egyptian sun god, and the occult eye being, the eye of God being the sun. When God's eye's out, it's light. When it's closed, it's dark. And I equals 35 as well, just like fire god, like I got up there. Does it seem coincidental, or does it seem that there's a greater connection here?
Well, yeah, obviously we know that this is, they're deeply ritualistic. So yeah, I did come across some 93s. I didn't write those down. I try to use as few numbers as possible, but I did come across some 93s. I can add them later.
Rambo, okay,
but clearly they've...
I was going to say, Lucifer is associated with Venus, which is also very important to the Jesuits. And there's parallels in the Bible between Jesus and Lucifer. Is there some fire connection with Venus?
Lucifer isn't just Venus. Lucifer is the morning star. The sun is also the morning star. Venus is the morning star. There's a famous quote or phrase, Lucifer, son of the morning. And that's actually a misquote. It's not a complete quote. The full statement is Lucifer, son of the morning star. The morning star is Venus, and Venus appears at dawn, and Venus ushers in the day, the rising sun.
Oh, Rambo,
So
the commercial coming up on us. We'll be right back, everybody.
All right.
2-minute break. We'll be right back.
Extendivite, a 7-herb combination made from garlic, cayenne, hawthorn, bilberry, ginkgo biloba, valerian, and milk thistle. Extendivite feeds our body with the right nutrients to keep us healthy. Just listen to what Arthur has to say.
I was just calling to tell you what a great product you have. I had used this about 10 years ago after I had congestive heart failure. And it fixed me up and got me going for the last 10 years. Lately, I've been having heart trouble again. So I placed another order because this was the only thing that ever worked. And I just wanted to let you know that you have a great product.
To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Hey, it's Grace. Can we talk about something serious for a minute? Your age. Getting old has its perks. But remember, being a few years younger, you know, your hair was thicker, you didn't have so many wrinkles, that extra weight wasn't haunting you, and you just felt better. Well, we can't turn back the clocks and go back 10 or 15 years, but you can start feeling and looking 10 or 15 years younger with Nature's Youth RSF. It's a doctor-formulated daily supplement that helps your body maintain its peak performance and fight the aging process. Imagine sleeping better, looking better, and feeling better. See how Nature's Youth RSF has helped thousands of people just like you at nature'syouth.com. nature'syouth.com. Imagine how it will feel when your family and friends are asking you what you did to look so good. Your secret will be Nature's Youth RSF. It's time to start looking better and feeling better. Learn more and order your Nature's Youth RSF at nature'syouth.com. That's nature'syouth.com. That's nature'syouth.com.
For 5,000 years, the world was ruled with wooden ships by one man. 242 years ago, a small group of free men crafted a new nation built on liberty and freedom. Global elites have been fighting to destroy this new nation called America ever since. Based on actual events, Charm of Favor tells a true story of how they corrupted the election system. They infiltrated federal agencies and murdered witnesses, judges, and even presidents to keep from being caught. Now, the largest and wealthiest crime syndicate the world has ever known has been drawn out of the shadows. They have killed hundreds of Americans and recently attempted to assassinate half our congressmen. Still, they escape arrest through an almost supernatural charm of favor. Read Charm of Favor and be prepared to open your eyes to what may lie just around the corner. Charm of Favor is available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
We are TFR.
My faith in destiny is all I need to prevail.
Truth Frequency Radio.
All right, we're back, True Seeker. We got Rambo with us. Some of you in the chat asking over the break, did you hear about the death of the Tanzanian president? He's dead 139 days after his birthday. That's the 34th prime number. Black equals 34. Also interesting about 139 being the 34th prime. If you write out Freemasonry, it's 139. And if you write out free, it's 34. 139, the 34th prime. Black 34. Black president dead 139 days after his birthday. And I'm sure there's a lot more to it as well. I see he was born in 59, dead on the 17th. Remember, 59 is the 17th prime, and kill equals 59 and 17. But yeah, I'll look into this more. I wasn't aware that this was in the news today. So I will definitely look into that a lot more. And without further ado, I'm going back to Rambo because he was interrupted. We're back, Rambo. Thank you.
Thanks. The Tanzanian president actually had publicly exposed the COVID test, the PCR test. He actually sent the WHO some samples because they sent a test kit to Tanzania, and he took samples from fruit, and he labeled them with a person and an age, and then the test came back positive for COVID. And what he did, he said that proves that the tests were bogus. It actually made the WHO just look like complete clowns, and he really clowned them because he sent them. Yeah, he sent them samples from fruit, DNA samples from fruit, which their test kit thought they were human, and it gave them a positive reading. So he exposed COVID. I think that has a lot to do with why he died.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds about right.
Yeah, you should see his speech. You should look up how he exposed COVID.
Hey,
also you asked
his name, John Magufuli, or however do you know how to say his name correctly?
I have to see how it's spelled, but yeah, I'm pretty sure I can pronounce it properly. I don't know how it's spelled.
Magufuli.
Oh, Magufuli.
Magufuli. Okay, John Magufuli.
I'm not sure whether it's Magufuli or Magufuli.
It's one of those two. But the way his name equals 56 and 187 in the same ciphers as Society of Jesus, and then it also equals 61, and he's dead at 61, and he's dead on a date with 61 numerology as well. And we know Jesus is 61, like Christian, like Christmas, like cross, like church. And again, it's the Jesuits who have a lot to do with what's going on, but I see he was in office since 95 as well, another big Jesuit number. So it's possible that like a guy like this is part of this Jesuit cabal, but then he's just like, even though he's part of it, he's just so sick of things. He sees it's ultimately not good, he speaks out, and then he ends up dying by the numbers. Could be something like that.
Do you know what his birthday is?
Yeah, it's October 29th.
Oh, okay.
139 days after the
birthday.
Well,
you were asking about you were asking about Lucifer.
Right.
Lucifer is Venus, but Lucifer is also the sun. The moniker for Lucifer is, I guess people erroneously say Lucifer, son of the morning. It's Lucifer, son of the morning star. Venus is the morning star, and Lucifer meaning the sun. The sun is the sun, S-O-N, of Venus, because Venus is a harbinger of the sun in the morning. So the female version of Lucifer is Lucy, which is Venus. Lucy is Venus. Luke is the sun. So Luke Skywalker in Star Wars is Lucifer, but he's the male son. He's Luke. And actually the morning star is a trinity, because another morning star, which is not as visible and smaller, is Mercury. The only time you can really see Mercury with the naked eye is at dusk and dawn. Mercury is also the morning star. So the morning star is actually a trinity. It's the sun, Venus, and Mercury. The three of them are morning stars. And in Revelation, I think it's 22, some of Revelation 22, Jesus says, I am of the, he called himself I am the bright and morning star. Jesus refers to himself as the morning star. And Jesus is representative of either the sun and or Mercury. So that's what Jesus meant when he says, "I am the morning star" in Revelation.
Very interesting.
So yeah, that's yeah. So Yeah, so Vulcan's 89, and 461 is the 89th prime. Southern California fireworks explosion is 461. Southern California fireworks explosion is 511, like the date, 5th November. If the notion of Jesuit influence seems to be a stretch, then consider the location of the explosion, Francis Street, West Francis Street to be precise, Francis being the name of the current and first openly Jesuit pope, happened on Francis Street. Remember that the commemoration of the Jesuit treason, 5th November 1605, is known in Britain as Fireworks Night. And the Ontario, California explosion is blamed on fireworks, and the Gematria should end all doubt. The location of the explosion, West Francis Street, with street abbreviated ST, and Jesuit treason are a perfect match across all four base ciphers. West Francis Street and Jesuit treason. And you talk about fireworks, all four. I mean, I think this should end all doubt. This is the beauty of multiple ciphers as well, because the odds of two phrases matching, which are related, matching up over four different ciphers just emphasizes more the fact that it can't be a coincidence.
That it's deliberate.
Yeah, so West Francis Street, 176, that's what street abbreviated, ST. Jesuit treason, 176, but also Guy Fawkes Night is 176. Guy Fawkes, also known as Guido Fawkes. Guido Fawkes is 176. 9 days before this, and you covered this, I left a link to your decode. There was an explosion in an urban area in Equatorial Guinea in West Africa. Well, Equatorial Guinea comes to 176. The popular refrain from the 1605 British Jesuit treason gunpowder plot, remember, remember, the 5th of November, sums to 176. All these related terms. Explosions and fireworks, Jesuits, 176. I mean, what are the odds of all that matching up? Then there's the number 50. West Francis Street was street abbreviated ST, and Jesuit treason both sum to 50.
Remember, Jesuits.
One of the two reported deaths.
Jesuits, the plural is also 50, just like Washington, their city. Jesuits 50, Washington 50, in the same cipher that you have up there with the guy's name, Cesar Paez.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. That's another one. And this is what the ABC reported. Quote: the incident occurred shortly after 12:30 p.m. Tuesday in the 400 block of West Francis Street. About 50 firefighters still worked to douse the flames. So 50 firefighters. You think that number is a coincidence? No, it lines up with this. Another quote from the report is, just after 2 p.m. Tuesday, fire officials issued an evacuation order for the Francis Street and Maple Avenue between Fern and San Antonio Avenue. So these are interesting names, Maple Avenue and San Antonio Avenue. Close to the scene was Maple Avenue, which they highlighted. And you look at the match between Maple Avenue and Beirut. And it's a super match over three base ciphers. So you remember that what they have in common is fireworks. We're blamed for both ones in Beirut. So Maple Avenue, Avenue is abbreviated AVE. Also, so Maple Ave is 75, Beirut is 75. The incident yesterday, March 16th, was the 75th day of the year. So 75 is significant there. Maple Avenue, with Avenue spelled out, also sums to 115, like the date November 5th. San Antonio Avenue is also highlighted. Now, the Greek form of Vulcan, the Roman inherited Vulcan from the Greeks, Hephaestus. Hephaestus and San Antonio, again, is a super match over three of the four base ciphers. Another aspect of this, it could be a ritual around the star Sirius. So the headline is that massive fireworks explosion kills 2 people and a dog in Southern California. So the Ontario, California explosion and fire could also have been a Sirius ritual. In the occult, Sirius is a sacred star. It's highly venerated in Freemasonry and occult. Even it goes back to ancient Egypt. Highly venerated, the star Sirius. And Sirius is known as the dog star or the wolf star, and we know the importance of the wolf to Rome. Often a dog or a wolf will appear in a Sirius-related ritual. Rome was founded in mythology by Romulus, who was nurtured by a female wolf, along with his twin brother Remus. The star Sirius is located in close proximity to the constellation of Gemini. And the symbol of Gemini is twins, and it is said that the power of Sirius emanates through the pillars of Gemini. That's why you often see twins and Sirius in the same ritual. You see that very often. So the reference, and this ritual was performed on 9/11, when a security dog named Sirius is reported to have died in Tower 2 of the World Trade Center. Who knows if there really was a dog like that. But, and that was a Sirius ritual. You saw the Twin Towers and Sirius. That's the star Sirius, which is located in proximity to the constellation of Gemini. And they say ritualistic, symbolically, its power emanates through the twin pillars of Gemini. Also, the time they give for the explosion is 12:30 p.m. If you look at the date, 12:30, December 30th, that's around about the time that Earth is closest to Sirius, to the star Sirius. So it does look like, and yes, and that's why they report that there were two men and one dog died. That seriously looks like a Sirius ritual. Also, if you look at, I didn't put this up yet, but the gematria of Sirius is 67, 95, and 32. Vulcan, with its alternative spelling VOLCAN, has the same three values, 67, 95, and 32. So I think this was also a Sirius ritual. Also, on the Free to Find Truth platform, Truth Does Not Exist was asking me about a dog Sirius, but I wasn't sure what he was referring to. I don't know if he's listed, but I don't know if this is the dog he was referring to, because he just asked me about a dog named Sirius. If this is the dog he was referring to, then I can give him more on that. He just asked me about it, and I wasn't sure. And it just came up just by, I didn't even know it would come up in this. So just if he's listening, I will get back to him, but I wasn't sure if this was the dog he was referring to, Sirius. But yeah, so the two dogs and the dog and the two men killed is part of a Sirius-related ritual.
Very interesting. Yeah,
and,
it would be tragic to find out that they really raised a dog named Sirius just for the ritual. That would just make it all the more sick. So.
Yeah, but they're proven psychopaths. You know, they killed thousands of humans.
Exactly. That's what I mean. I mean, I wouldn't put it past them at all, just so they could have it there for that day. The dog Sirius.
Yeah. So most likely they did name a dog and raise the dog and name it for the ritual. Yeah, most likely, yes. Yes, absolutely. They're psychopaths.
It's a very easy thing to do when you know that you have those planned rituals. So, yeah.
Yeah. This is one thing I was thinking when you're talking about people who might be concerned about if you put yourself out there, you'll receive trolls and harassment. There's only one way to really avoid being trolled and harassed when you put yourself out there, and that is to say nothing, to do nothing, and to be nothing. That's the only way to guarantee not to be controlled. I mean, trolled.
Sure.
Or called a shit. Just don't say anything. Yeah, so just I consider that.
Yeah, that very well could be true. Well, I appreciate it, Rambo. Amazing work as always. I feel like it's just getting better every week. So, I have a feeling next week you're going to look more into that Juno time cover. Am I wrong?
The Juno. Remember, I talked about they were talking about how gender reveal parties
We're
were
setting
creating
fires. Yeah.
wildfires.
Right.
Remember my decode on that, and 53 was key to that. 53 and 35 were keys to that.
Right. Right.
And so this is also this is all related. So yeah, and I could talk about the relation of these fires in the 35 and 53 and its association with the whole the transgender theme. So yeah, they are tied in. Yeah, and Juno, absolutely. I could add to that, but like this story happened yesterday. I don't know what will happen between now and next week that I might decide is.
Well, the cover debuts
more
March
priority.
29th. The story's out today, but the cover debuts March 29th. So this cover still isn't out. It's a ways off. So you might want to look into the timing of it because you'll probably catch something there.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll look into that. But yeah, I definitely see a between 53, the gender number, transgender number 53 and 35, and how this is related to Vulcan. And again, at the end of the movie, she played Juno. Juno gave birth to Vulcan. So yeah, this is completely related to it.
And the cover is coming out on a 53 date numerology, March 29th, 21st. So.
Oh, okay. There you go. Yeah. So you're already decoding it.
Yeah, but I know that you would probably see a lot more here, as you always do, Rambo. But yeah, no, cover whatever you want. I just, since you started with that, I was like, maybe he's going to do that for his next post. Look more into that cover. So, yeah. All right, friend. Well, I appreciate it. If there's nothing else, I guess we'll hear from you next week, or unless you let me know sooner. Because, again, people enjoyed the other week when you called me over the weekend and you did that separate stream. So if you ever want to do that again, I'm here.
Yeah, I'm glad you got positive feedback. Maybe I can strike while the iron is hot and do the, if I see something Ellen Page, so it can flow with this.
Okay. All right, Rambo. Appreciate it.
I'm not promising, but yeah.
Yeah, whatever time allows. I get it, man. Thank you.
All right, thanks again.
Yeah, you have a good night. Take care. Okay. Now, from there to Toronto. So, second call from Ontario. Amazing. How are you doing this evening?
Oh, hi, Zach. How are you?
Doing well. It sounds like Natalie.
Yes, it is me.
Appreciate you calling back. Yeah. What's going on?
Yes, sorry for hanging up on you last week.
Oh, that's okay.
Last night.
That's okay.
Okay, so I called back to continue with the sports decode.
Okay.
We're going to do the last guy.
Okay.
What's his name? Minivad.
Oh, yes.
And he was born, yep. He was also an international, he played, like, Persian. He died in Tehran. Oh, let me pull up my decode here. Tehran is 33, 96, 30, and 66. He was born January 27th. So that would be 1975. Born November 30th, 1975. And then he passed away on January 27th, 2021. So the days in between are, what did I write here? Man, sometimes my writing is so messy.
I can relate.
I think that's 58 days.
Okay.
In between. And then how old he was. He was 45 years old. So, and his death was supposedly COVID.
Huh. Okay.
Also. So I have no idea if this is something to do with also the Super Bowl at the time, like Ali Ali Ansarian, the other international footballer, as Iranians call it, that played for the World Cup for Iran. So football is football, I gotta spell it right. Okay, football is 83, 29, 133, and 43.
Right.
And Iran is 3066. So you have Tehran and Iran 36, and there's 42. There's 24. So that's an interesting one. The report apparently said he had something with his kidneys. Like, I looked at a CNN report that his kidneys malfunctioned. So I found that to be really interesting.
Indeed. Yeah, not very old. So many athletes die at such a young age, and you just gotta think that does not make sense. I mean, they're the ones that should be living longer. They're taking care of their bodies, but yeah, just so many premature deaths. So 45.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting. And another one I found, I have a local news story that I saw in my local bakery. I go to a Portuguese bakery and I wait in line and I watch it's my only local news I get there. And there was this report from Hamilton, Ontario, now to do the synchronicities to Ontario, back to Ontario, Canada. And there was this report from a house numbered 102 in Hamilton, Ontario. And then the story was reports of a dead baby, or a dead infant, as the report said. So I did some decoding, that's interesting. So first it was like a dead baby, it was the body of a newborn child. So this is not saying like you want to talk like over like a tea or a nice glass of wine. Let's talk about dead babies. Like, who in my mind would kind of talk about something like that?
Sure.
At the time I saw this report, it was February 24th. That's when it said their report is unconfirmed. And then they actually found the body of a newborn on February 25th. And then charges were laid. And this is where it gets interesting. That's when I saw some interesting numbers. Nathan O'Brien, 34. That caught my eye. Then Winnie Windsor, or I can't pronounce that last name, 24.
Huh, okay.
And then when I started doing quick decodes, murder is 34. Hamilton is 38, murder is 38, Ontario is also 38. Hamilton is 43, Ontario is 43. And I thought, well, as sad as that is, babies are always innocent. There you go.
Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, those same old numbers all the time. Well, I really appreciate it, Natalie. Great work.
No problem. Well, I know it's going to be a short call. Get some new callers in. I hope some new callers will come in and share their voices.
Indeed.
And stay close, Zach.
All right. You have a good night. Take care, Natalie. All right. And next up is Delaware. What's going on, Delaware?
Hello.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, what's going on, Zach? Yeah, I'll be brief about it. Since you said earlier the theme was about college basketball, I was going to see, I saw a stat earlier for Syracuse versus San Diego State, and it said that San Diego State University is on a 14-game winning streak, second behind Gonzaga for having a long streak in Division I. I know that the word N equals 14. Could you see an upset with Syracuse beating will Syracuse beating San Diego State University?
So here, I'll give people I'll give people an insight on this game. So, today on Patreon we went through all the first round games. There's 32, I guess there's 34 games total if you count the first 4 that start tomorrow. But that game's tricky because here's what's up with that game. If Syracuse wins the game, they'll get Jim Boeheim, if I'm not mistaken. It's either Jim Boeheim or Syracuse as a program will get their 69th tournament win. I think it's actually Syracuse as a program will get their 69th win. And if you write out San Diego State Aztecs, it equals 69. And in the most pure cipher, too, the alphabet order with rules of numerology. So that's there for Syracuse. But on the flip side, Boeheim can pick up his 34th loss in the tournament. And Aztecs is 34. And if you flip it around the other way, the alphabetic order, San Diego State is 139, which is the 34th prime. So that there's a few games like that in the first 64 where it's like, oh man, there's 2 good narratives on both sides. So that's one of them. But what you just said about 14, you do see a lot of streaks in sports end at 14. Hey, sit tight. We'll be right back, everybody. Quick commercial break.
Censorship and regulation is becoming an ever-growing problem in today's modern media. From the mainstream to YouTube and Google, the information you're looking for is buried by official narratives and propaganda. This is why TFR is 100% uncensored, unregulated, and listener-supported. The shows on TFR are not micromanaged by the station, and our hosts are free to speak their minds however they please. As such, the views and opinions expressed on our station are of those who make them. If you happen to hear anything offensive on TFR, please send us an email to toughtitty@tfrlive.com, and we'll be happy to tell you that we really don't give a damn. We stand for freedom of speech and non-censorship. If you also stand for free speech, you can go to tfrlive.com/signup and sign up for a TFR supporter pass and help us in our mission to keep the airwaves uncensored and unregulated. TFR Live, your uncensored and unregulated protection from deception.
Better testing. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. The Biden administration says it's investing millions of dollars into COVID testings in schools and underserved communities.
The CDC says they will be using $10 billion from the American Rescue Plan to help test students, staff, and teachers at schools, saying in a statement that this is meant to help with reopening efforts. The CDC says they will also spend another $2.25 billion to what they say is address COVID-19 related health disparities and advance health equity among high-risk and underserved populations, including racial and ethnic minorities and people living in rural areas. The money going primarily to public health departments to help with testing and contact tracing. Health and Human Services is also giving a $250 million contract to Abbott to deploy rapid point-of-care tests in long-term facilities. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
During this afternoon's White House press briefing, Education Secretary Miguel Cardona stressed the importance of vaccines and getting kids back to class.
It's critically important that we vaccinate as many as possible, and we promote the benefits of the vaccination to make sure we have safe school communities. So the message really is, if you're able to get a shot, get a shot.
He said the goal is to get kids back in school this spring as quickly and safely as possible. Nevada Governor Steve Sisolak says his state will begin allowing all residents ages 16 and older to be eligible for the COVID vaccine starting April 5th. 8 counts of murder have been filed against Robert Aaron Long, the suspect in last night's shooting at 3 day spas in the Atlanta area. 8 people were killed, most of them Asian women.
Crime against any community is a crime against us all.
Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms, the suspect, has told police the shootings were not racially motivated. He says he's a sex addict and planned more shootings in Florida targeting the porn industry. America is listening to Fox News.
You must unite what is inside us.
We are TFR. Truth Frequency Radio.
Condition orange. Condition orange. Situation Delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
We have to create culture. Don't watch TV. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal.
More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them.
Think for yourself. Question authority. This code has been compromised.
All right, we're back, True Seeker. We had somebody call in about the tournament. Again, tonight we said all questions were open about the tournament. And Delaware got cut off, so I'm going to let him finish his thought. You're back on, friend.
Okay. Yeah, what's on? Hey, Zach. Okay. Is there any significance to the Florida power forward, small forward, Keontae Johnson? You know that he collapsed back in December.
Oh, I gotta go back and look at that story. I forgot about that. I'm glad you brought that up. I'll go back and revisit that.
And they play Virginia Tech, and Virginia Tech has only played 2 or 3 games dating back to February. And I know that was a story that you spoke about a while back.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back and look at those things. So I appreciate those tips.
You're welcome. Since Houston is playing and and Illinois is playing and Chicago Ramblers are playing, do you think that the George Perry Floyd could also come into play too? That whole ritual, since he was supposedly from Houston, and I know that the Golden Gophers aren't playing, but you know that he was supposedly from Houston, died in Minneapolis on Chicago Street, and you got the Ramblers. And the fighting Illinois is playing.
Those are good thoughts. I actually didn't explore the George Floyd angle, but they did plenty of stuff in the baseball season and the basketball season in tribute to George Floyd and the NFL season. So, yeah, I'll have to look at that. Those are good thoughts.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, I'll let the other folks get on the line. But thank you, though.
Yeah, you have a good night, friend. Take care. All right, let's go out to Chicago. Speaking of Chicago. Chicago, you're on.
Hello?
Hello, yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, you're on.
Man, what's up, Zach?
How you doing?
I'm a new caller.
Yeah, I appreciate you calling in.
Hello?
Yeah, first time calling in. Great. Yeah, what's up?
Yeah. Man, I wanted to tell everybody that I'm really trying to put this knowledge out and stuff. I did it I do the remote learning in school, and I did a whole presentation on Gematria and stuff. My teachers, they was mind blown.
That's great. Tell me more about that. I got to hear about it.
Man, I did it in my first hour period. It was 4 students that joined and stuff. They was asking me how did the numbers was adding up and stuff. I told them that it come back to the book of formation. I'm sorry, I'm very nervous. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Well, you sound great, but that's right. Kabbalah's book of formation. That's where it all goes back to. So perfect answer. See, I already know that you must have done a good job if you had everybody mind blown. Because most people, when they try to share this with new people, they just shut down. So if you had everybody mind blown, you did something right.
Yeah. My second period teacher, she was really mind blown, and she got the vaccine too.
Oh.
So I think she was yeah. But yeah, I'm trying to put this knowledge out. I'll be putting it out on Snapchat, but man, these Chicago people, they don't want to listen. All they want to do is just.
I think that's people all over the place. It's funny. Two guys flew out from Chicago to Seattle to help us get out the word this past weekend, and they did say that in Chicago it might be even worse than Seattle. So I hear it's tough there too.
Yeah.
So interesting.
Yeah, but yeah, that's all I wanted to say. My brother, he entered Gematria. His last name is Caesar. He been doing some decodes on that and stuff.
Well,
but he's asleep right now.
Sure. Well, it sounds like it's good he knows you. You got him on the right path. And yeah, call back again. You sounded great, and I'm glad to hear your story too. So appreciate it, man. You have a good night.
All right.
All right.
All right, you too.
Yeah, take care, man. Yeah, I love to hear that. I love to hear that it's getting shared, especially in a school setting. What's up, caller?
Hey, Zach. How you doing?
Hey, how you doing, man?
Doing all right. So, Marvelous Marvin Hagler died from the vaccine, right?
Well, I was pointing out.
I don't.
Yeah, he died March 13th, 313, and Marvelous Marvin Hagler equals 313. And it just reminds me, decade of vaccines equals 313, and that's Bill Gates' whole thing. And 313 is the 65th prime, and Marvin Hagler alone 65, and pandemic 65, and decade of vaccines is also 65, and Bill Gates is 65 while all this is going on, and they simulated that coronavirus pandemic October 18th on Melinda Gates' 65th day of her age, and 65 million people die, and that simulated coronavirus pandemic, and they were married 65 days after Bill Gates' birthday, and a whole long list. But yeah, Marvin Hagler had all those numbers, and then the rumor was that he'd just gotten the vaccine and was showing some bad symptoms before his reported passing. So they put that out in the mainstream. They did.
Yeah. So what do you know about Tommy Hearns? Thomas the Hitman Hearns, that was his buddy, and he said he died from that vaccine. And what do you think? They're going to take him out now?
Well, maybe not. Maybe his deed was because I mean, think about that. Tommy the Hitman Hearns put out the word about Marvin Hagler getting the vaccine. I mean, it just seems kind of like a mocking in a way. So I don't know.
I don't know. See, I didn't see it. I just heard, that Tommy said that, and
that's what they reported
being from Detroit here. I took it that Tommy and Marvin were buddies.
You know what's wild?
That was like his best friend.
I just had to look up what day Tommy Hearns' birthday is. What's wild is his birthday is the day they did the Event 201 simulation. How weird is that? The day of the simulation is his birthday. The day of the coronavirus pandemic simulation where they rush out vaccines. That's his birthday, October 18th.
Wow. Incredible. So you think Tommy is part of it then? What do you mean?
Well, his name earns. I just had to look it up. Equals 65, just like Marvin Hagler, like pandemic, like decade of vaccines. Dead on 313, 313, the 65th prime. I mean, it looks pretty ritualistic. So.
Wow. So Marvin was a ritual, and you think Tommy's next, or do you think he's?
You know what else is funny, man? Here's what else is messed up. His name, Thomas Hearns. Thomas Hearns equals 66. That's what age Marvin Hagler died at, 66. And
yes.
Corona equals 66, and it's made out of 6 letters. Corona, 66, 6 letters. And don't forget Clade X, the other simulation done by the same people who did Event 201. That was 666 days before the pandemic was declared. And the word vaccination, 666 in Sumerian Gematria. Yeah, I'm going to go back on this Thomas Hagler remark on the Marvin Hagler death, or Thomas Hearns. I'm going to have to go back and put in the Thomas Hearns part, because I skipped that part, so I'm glad you brought that up.
Okay, cool. All right, I appreciate you, brother.
All right, man. All right, good call. Yeah, you have a good night.
Thanks. You too.
All right, take care. Gematria, you can solve these riddles in seconds. Let's go out to Canada again. What's up, Canada?
Back?
Hello? Yes, you're on.
Back?
Yes. Yeah, you're on.
Hey, Zach, how you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
Hi. I'm good. That was my girlfriend. She just called in. I was watching on YouTube there. So I just wanted to say I've been a big fan of your work for probably close to 7 years now, since the beginning. I've been tracking down like all your channels. They keep been getting deleted over the last several years. And, you know, it's been really helpful to sort of understand from a different viewpoint, like all this stuff that's going on the world stage. You know what I mean? It's very comforting to know that, you know, there's a deeper truth to all the stuff that people get emotionally wrapped up in. You know what I mean?
Sure, indeed.
Yeah, so I've just been watching along here. I've actually never called in live before, so it's kind of exciting.
Well, I appreciate calling in. It's good to know you've been out there all this time, so thank you very much.
Oh, yeah. No, I keep up with all your channels as regularly as I can. Yeah, I don't really have anything too specific I wanted to talk about, but I mean, I've been into the truth community for quite a long time now. And, you know, there may be some people that get into politics or conspiracies and news or whatever, but anytime you try to explain what's going on with the numerology and the gematria, people seem to shy away from it. Like it's a little too much for them, or they don't seem to see the connections the way that you do. You know what I mean? But I appreciate your dedication.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. So I appreciate your dedication too, sticking around for this long. Thank you.
Oh yeah, I've actually recently moved to the city of Winnipeg, and I was wondering if you knew any of the connections with the city of Winnipeg in Canada, because there seems to be there's a lot of occult architecture and history here in the city, like the Winnipeg Legislature building, which is like the provincial capital building. It's full of all of these Masonic symbols and architecture and all kinds of stuff. So it's really neat.
And I don't know a lot about Winnipeg, unfortunately, but yeah, you go into cities. I mean, there is a lot of interesting architecture, especially when your eyes are, you know, more open to things. So yeah, I'd love to travel there and see them.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I studied architecture in school, and that's sort of how it was around that time that I started getting into this stuff, because I was looking into this Hermeticism and sacred geometry and a lot of the ancient mystery religions and Christianity and Judaism, all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, it's kind of weird being on the spot. I don't really have anything too specific I wanted to get into, but I just wanted to thank you for all the work that you've done and just keeping things interesting, because it seems like every time some world event happens, you know, you're one of the first people that I go to really see, you know, what's really going on, instead of getting too emotional about things. You just have to understand a lot of it is all pre-planned and scripted, and I just like your take on things, man.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, and I mean, that's exactly what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to help people see that people are trying to psychologically mess with us, steer us, and we don't want those things to happen to us. So yeah, you're taking the work for exactly what the purpose is. So thank you again, friend, and I hope you call in again.
Yeah.
So it was good to hear your voice.
All right, I'll probably call back some other time. Thanks a lot for what you do, man. Keep it real.
You're welcome, man. You have a good night. I look forward to it. Take care.
Yeah, you too.
Thanks, man. All right, let's go out to Atlanta, where the spa murders are happening. What's going on, Atlanta?
Yo, Zach, I got a vent, man. I just got this is Jay with Open Eyes again. I just got my channel deleted by YouTube, man.
It just gets worse and worse, man. It's so hard to keep a channel up. There's so few things you can say. Well, what was your great offense?
Yeah. Man, okay, so does it seem like I feel like they're coming after the smaller channels for real this time. It's like, because you can get away with saying certain things on your channel, but it's like a lot bigger than mine, but it's like I can't say shit. I just mentioned, okay, in my last video, you know that video that you watched of the actor, the Mexican actor interviewing Fauci?
Right, yeah.
All I did was post a reaction to that video. I didn't even use any gematria. I didn't even say anything offensive. Nothing. All I did was say, well, yeah, it seems like he should be unsure about the vaccines because they're being rushed out. all the pharmaceutical companies, what Fauci should say is all the pharmaceutical companies that were at this event 201 simulation for a coronavirus disease outbreak right before the coronavirus disease happens on the same day as the military world games again in Wuhan, China. They all benefit. They all stand to gain from these vaccines. They all originate vaccines. And on the anniversary of the Cladex simulation, which main point is about the rushing out vaccines we get Operation Warp Speed founded on. And I was just like, does that know those things seem suspicious? Whole
Right.
channel gone for saying that.
Isn't it crazy? Exactly. And
They don't.
Isn't it crazy because you're just stating facts and you're not making any blanket statement, but
Yeah,
you're just
it's
saying, isn't that
facts.
interesting? And the next thing you know, it's medical misinformation. So you just see what it really is.
This is stuff that they put out themselves.
Right, and they don't want people connecting the dots, though. That's the thing, because they realize nobody knows about these things. That's like what we're finding out in Seattle 2 years in a row. Nobody knows about any of these things. So just for asking people about them. And then what's crazy is when the mainstream brings it up in an article, they say it's like a conspiracy theory. My mom is on a 30-day suspension on Facebook. I think she's already like 3 weeks into it, but all she did was shared a video that somebody else posted with the like 20-some minute review of the Event 201 simulation. The actual review from YouTube, she got a 30-day suspension just for sharing that. So it's like, it's the actual just... So yeah, they just don't want people to be aware of these things.
Yeah, and my dad my sister already got the vaccine because she wants to be, and she's working in the medical field, so she has to get the vaccine. And my dad's gonna get it, and you know, they were asking me, you know, how long was I gonna hold off on getting this shit? I ain't taking that shit. Like, never. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm holding out all the way.
He's like, well, you're gonna have to give me to some point. Nah, I'm gonna thug this shit out some type of way because I'm not getting that shit. Because like,
but again,
even just off principle.
Go ahead.
But even just off of principle, even if that vaccine does nothing to you, I don't want to take that shit just off of principle, because knowing that the shit was all planned for their agenda, for their gain, because they all conspired to come together. Just knowing that, I don't even want to fucking feed into the shit, even if it does nothing to you, because I know that they did all that shit on purpose. And I know that I'm just feeding into the shit that they doing. It's like, so you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. That is right. And I remind people that when they said the first people got the shots in the world, Maggie Keenan and William Shakespeare, exactly how they reported
I heard about that too.
They got it in Coventry. And Coventry means social isolation. Social isolation. That's what's going to happen to everybody who doesn't get the vaccine.
I know about all of that.
Yeah,
that's it was all on my channel that they took down. Could you go to my second channel? It's just called J with Open Eyes 2. There's no space. It's J without the H, Open Eyes 2. There's no space in between. There's a space between eyes and 2, but there's no space between J with Open Eyes. And yeah, it was just. But it's like they don't even allow my shit to grow. It's just, it's just so frustrating, man. Because I'm trying to tell, you know, people in my family about this, and I told my mom about it, and she understood what I was saying. She agreed, but it's like everybody else. It's just, I don't understand this. And again, like you said, most people don't know about this. You know, my dad doesn't know about it until I told him about it until one, but he didn't know about it when I told him. But he still didn't. They still don't get it. It's just because they feel like the life is gonna be inconvenient if you do get it. But it's like people don't realize that it's only gonna be inconvenient because most people still chose to feed into the shit, and it's frustrating.
That's right.
Like
if nobody went along with it, it would just break it all. It would be over. It would be over.
Yeah, if nobody lined up for this, they wouldn't be able to do anything. And notice how. You know, I'm not making no videos, or I'm not making any claims that Bill Gates is a reptilian or the earth is flat or none of that bullshit. Notice how those videos get to stay up while my videos just talking about the simulations that went down get taken down. My whole channel gets deleted for those videos. Again, because that's the real thing. The outlandish stuff they allow to blow up because they know that it's going to make the people who talk about real conspiracies look stupid and look dumb and crazy, and it's going to discredit us, you know?
Yeah,
all
exactly.
I'm saying is,
that's
a
what
bunch
the
of
whole
pharmaceutical
QAnon thing was
companies came
about.
together on purpose, and people... and people think... I don't understand why people... It's just so... I don't get it. Like, why is it so hard for people to come to terms that this shit will be done on purpose? I mean, people say, Or you saying the conspiracy? Like they say it like it's impossible. Like there's no way a group of people could come together and plan something out for their own game. Like there's just no way that ever happens. Like that shit happens all the time. It's like, so it's crazy how nobody just it's not even that I think that I'm super smart. You know, it's just that I just realize a lot of people around me are just so dumb. It's just I just realized from a young age that I have a lot better judgment than most people around my age. Like I remember when the Jussie Smollett shit happened, and I saw it, and I instantly knew it was bullshit, and then I had to tell my mom and other family members that it was fake, and they was looking at me saying, "No, he wouldn't fake that," and then it came out it was a hoax. I was like, "Yeah, who's gonna go to Subway at 2 a.m. in the morning? Like, nigga, Subway?
Right.
You went out at Subway, nigga? Like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? It's like, bro."
You know what it is? Here's what it is. This is what you realize about humanity. You realize, like, back in the day, there were tribes, and there was a chief of the tribe, and the chief actually cared about his people, and people knew to get behind the chief because he had the best judgment and the best reasoning. He was probably the best hunter, best physically. He was the leader, and everyone saw it, so they followed him. But the problem is we're born in this world where it's like a society, we're citizens, we have a leader for a nation of hundreds of thousands, and we always get like this bad chief, and the people we're supposed to look up to, that we're told to look up to, they're actually people that lead us astray. And you just got this society of people used to following these bad chiefs and being led astray and just used to listening to lies. Lies are normal. Just being lied to every day is normal. Anything outside of a lie doesn't quite feel right because you're just so used to lies and the bad chief. It's like people don't even recognize a good chief now. So you just see that's what happened to humanity. Humanity's not supposed to live like this. It's supposed to be like groups of 30 people or something like that.
A smart person sounds crazy to a dumb person.
Exactly, man. Exactly.
I read this quote somewhere. It's a lot harder to... I mean, it's a lot easier to fool someone than to show them that they're being fooled,
Yep.
It's a lot easier to just trick someone than to show them that they're being tricked. Because a lot of people are just open to being tricked. It's just, everything should be brought down to the community level. It shouldn't be this big federal government that have their monopoly on everything.
Indeed, and it's just getting smaller and smaller.
Do you think? Are you like a? Because I know you don't. I'm not in a political affiliation either. But what economic system do you think would be better? Like
barter. I think it should be barter system.
Or socialist.
I think a barter system. Just we get rid of money altogether. Just get rid of money. And just do what you can do in this world and trade your skills for whatever you need. And then that way, it's hard to really hustle anybody.
Right.
It's just simple.
I always thought that junk too. Because again, money. I never even liked the idea of money. Then you look at the back of the dollar bill. It got all this secret occult symbolism. It got all these Latin. Again, that just shows. I mean, nobody questions anything. It's just they're spending all this money. It's like the people don't even pay attention to what's on the back of the dollar bill. It's right in front of their face. It says on the back of the deal, Novus Seclorum or something like that, but in Latin it translates to New Order of the Ages. And one thing that I realized, that New World Order, that New World Order poster about the Phoenix coming out in
right.
I can't remember what year it came out, but it came out 33 years ago, I think.
1988, yeah, January.
Novus is Latin for new, but Novus equals 91, Phoenix equals 91. And they show that for the New World Order. So I was like, oh, okay. And then they have it on the back of the dollar bill.
No wonder they took down your channel. That's why your channel's getting taken down. That's why your channel's really getting taken down right there. Because see, you're taking the information, you're communicating it well, you're taking it to the next level, you're making your own observations, so you're already under the watchful eye.
Man, exactly, and you know what I'm saying. And it's just it really just insane how it just it really just is saying just how just in your face it really is, and all you gotta do is just take advantage of it, and I'm already and also they just with the Jesuit pledging $100 million to descendants of slaves. If you write out descendant of slaves, it equals 100. If you write out African American, it equals 100. Of course, they choose 100 million.
Yeah.
So, it's just they should really do everything by the numbers.
Indeed.
It's frustrating. It's honestly frustrating in the sad scene line.
How old are you?
Me get alienated from my family. I'm finna be 19.
Yeah.
What's funny is that my birthday is on March 22nd, 322, the Skull and Bones number. But I had to realize everything is a positive and a negative. They use that number for negative things. But yeah, I'm gonna be turning 19 on March 22nd.
Yeah, I gave you the same curse I had at your age because I was 18 when 9/11 happened, and then I just realized that everybody was so off. I already kind of knew it before that, but then after 9/11, I was like, man, my people are dumber than I thought.
Man,
And,
it's just.
Well, what I was gonna say is
Yeah,
just
really.
hang in there though. It's tough. I think it's harder when you're a teenager to deal with it than when you get a little bit older because you do get older, like just like the chemicals that
Yeah.
flow through your body are different and stuff. But just hang in there, man, and be tough because you're gonna be way ahead, and then it'll build character. But yeah, it is tough, man. It's just like they say, all good things come
Yeah.
hard. So it's gonna be hard being isolated from everybody else in terms of seeing the world for what it is. But I think in the long run, it's worth it.
Yeah.
And yeah, everybody
Yeah,
out there, support
yeah,
this
the
young
trade
man.
system,
Support
yeah,
this young
I
man
agree
before
with
they
that.
delete
I
his
don't like
channel
when-
again. Yeah. So
You said what?
I'm telling people to subscribe to your channel before they delete it again. It's
Yeah,
on the
they're,
screen.
they're gonna delete
It's
it.
a-
I had to already make a third channel, and you know.
Yeah.
And please, because like I already said in my video, I had one person comment in my
The commercial come up. We'll be right back, everybody. Sit tight.
All right.
From the dawn of man, we have turned to nature to help attain balance within ourselves. But somewhere, we lost our way. Western culture is once again remembering the healing benefits of CBD, the non-psychoactive component of the hemp plant. That's why more and more people who use CBD report relief from inflammation and chronic pain, balanced blood sugar and cardiovascular system, relief from muscle tensions, tremors, migraines, headaches, anxiety, depression, and the list goes on. The big question is, where do you get it? Life is a 99% pure CBD oil made with all organic ingredients, and it's available to TFR listeners worldwide. If you use coupon code TFR at checkout, you'll get $5 towards your order. Head on over to ialife.com now. That's AYA life.com.
Hey folks, guess what the #1 phrase that Life Change Tea receives by email? You ready? We love this tea. We love this tea. Time after time, week after week, we love this tea. Life Change Tea gives you more energy, a beautiful cleansing, and fulfills its slogan perfectly. The tea that makes you go. So if you want to be on your health game, log on to getthetea.com and order Life Change Super Strength Tea. Packages come in a 1-month supply, and when you brew this stuff, wait until you see the results. Aren't we all about the results? And with a lot of people's health struggling, we can use a little bit of help. Doctors will tell you disease starts in the gut. So log on to getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Be our next email saying, I love this tea. I love this tea. Get the tea at getthetea.com. Helping America one tea bag at a time.
For millennia, mankind has been searching for answers to the big questions, such as, where did the universe come from? Where did we come from? Why are we here? Are we alone? And just what the heck is the Sasquatch all about? I can't promise you answers, and neither can the Woo Crew, but they invite you to join them Friday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, midnight in the UK, for Freaky Friday, exclusively on Truth Frequency Radio. Spirituality, multiverse, quantum mechanics, the occult, and so much conspiracy analysis that it will make your mind melt. Take my word for it. Freaky Friday. It's more than a show. It's a way of life. I am Stephen Hawking, and I am proud to be a Wookiee.
No hate, no hype, no fear. We are TFR.
Frequency Radio.
All right, we're back, True Seeker. Great caller. Let him go on for a while. And I'd love to keep him on, but there are a ton of people on hold. So, Jay, I really appreciate you phoning in. And everybody, please subscribe to his channel when you get a moment. Jay, just instead of with the H, leave off the H. Jay Witt Open Eyes 2. All one word. I think there's a space actually before the 2, but I just linked it in the channel. And again, he just got his channel deleted, and he's sharing the work, and he's putting his own message out there, and he's a young, brilliant man. So be sure to support him. And also, over the commercial break, I just see that one of CNN's new stories up is on how there's going to be some severe tornadoes coming to the Midwest. And that is interesting because the article's saying, a little bit later this month, there could be some interesting storm systems. Mark down the date March 28th. And that'll be a date with 52 numerology, and it's also the 87th day of the year, and tornado equals 87. And we've circled these dates for tornadoes before in the past in connection to the numbers, and they have landed. And again, remember, on dates with 52 numerology, you usually see these bizarre weather stories, and it's going to be a year of bizarre weather on the 52 date that just passed, which was March 8th. That date had 52 numerology, as will March 28th. But on March 8th, there was the flooding of Hawaii that day, and the word flood equals 52 with the alphabetic order forwards. It equals 83 in reverse, like March 8th can be written 8/3, and Genesis 8:3 is where the biblical flood ends. But March 28th will have the 52 date numerology, and it's the 87th day of the year, and tornadoes 87, and CNN's saying brace for some really bad storms in the Midwest, and probably more tornadoes than normal. So we'll see. We'll see if we get a story like that March 28th. I won't be surprised in the least in light of the way news and even weather stories roll out by the numbers. So let me get back to the call board here. And next up is Wisconsin. How are you, Wisconsin?
Hey, how's it going?
It's going well. How are you?
Pretty good. I was just curious if you heard about the San Cristobal volcano that erupted on March 9th.
No, I didn't. What's the name of it again?
San Cristobal.
Okay, San Cristobal.
The reason I asked is because the day before that, here in Wisconsin, we had a story come out of the town of Delton about sunlight shining through a crystal ball ignited a couch on fire, which started the house on fire.
Huh.
That happened on March 8th, 3/8.
The day before this.
38.
The day before this, huh?
Yeah, and then, so the crystal ball started the fire on 3/8, and then San Cristobal volcano erupted on March 9th. So a crystal ball is something that's used by scryers, SCRYER, that equals 38, and it was started by sunlight shining through the crystal ball. Sunlight equals 38. It was in Sauk County. Sauk, CO, equals 38. Town of Delton equals 163, which is a 38th prime. And it made me think of that movie Playing with Fire with John Cena, which released on 11/8/19. 11 plus 8 plus 19 equals 38. John Cena equals 38. So it's a number that they synchronize with fires. And I thought it was pretty interesting about the volcano the next day and the names kind of sounding the same.
Indeed. Yeah, it seems beyond coincidence. And March 8th was the date with the 52 numerology for weather warfare. I don't know what it takes to trigger a volcano, but it's...
Yep.
That's
house fire equals.
Yeah. I don't think that's a coincidence. To me, that's the same kind of stuff I saw for years in the news when I didn't know Gematria, and I was like, what in the world is going on? Is this like a joke each day? I mean, what is going on? So.
Well, it's kind of like mockery with just the use of the words like crystal ball. You know, it's something that witches and sorcerers use.
Right. Right. So.
Yeah, and it also made me think of that old quarterback Tim Couch from the Cleveland Browns, because it was Couch that started on fire. So I was looking into him, and his name, Tim Couch, equals 38. And he was in a TV show called The Jersey, and they had an episode titled Cheers, Jeers, and Tears, which aired on November 23rd, 2002, which had 38 numerology. And in that show, The Jersey, the main characters are a family with the last name Lighter, which you use to start fires. So I thought that was pretty interesting how that all synced up.
Indeed. Yeah. Great observations, friend. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep. You have a good night.
Yeah, you too. Take care. All right, let's go out to New York. What's going on, New York?
Hello?
Yeah, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on?
Yeah, what's up, man?
I'll give you a quick decode on this Appalachian State, Norfolk State.
Okay.
266 days from the birthday of the guy from Norfolk State.
The coach in Norfolk State?
And, yep.
Okay.
Well, yeah, his birthday is June 26th.
Okay.
Which is 26/6.
And then it's 266 days later the game?
Yeah, from the game to I'm sorry, I think it's the manager of the coach of Appalachian State.
Okay.
It's 266, and which makes you think of the Pope. And the Pope's birthday is 17/12, and Appalachian State could become 17 and 12 with a loss.
That's very interesting. That is very interesting. That's a great observation. So, Dustin Kearns, let's see, is that the coach?
Yeah, just see if I got it. I didn't expect to get on. I thought I was just listening, and I didn't expect to come on. But
here, let
so
me
quick.
see. Yeah, you got on. Was that quick?
Yeah, if you want to double. Yeah, it was pretty quick. I thought you had a lot of people. Yeah, it was about a half hour. Wasn't.
Okay.
That was pretty
That's
quick.
not too bad. That's not too bad.
Do you see the Dustin Kearns manager? His birthday?
Well, I'm trying to get the reference up. Let's see, Dustin Kearns. Let's see, is he the current coach? Doesn't show his birthday there. He is the current coach. I just am having trouble finding his birthday. Dustin Kearns' birthday. Yeah, I gotta find his birthday. It's not popping up like it does for so many coaches. Normally it's just right there right away when you search, but I'm having trouble finding his birthday, so.
Hold on, I think it's, no, I got it. Hold on. Wait.
Robert Jones, the coach at Norfolk State's born June 26th. You've been have you been drinking a little bit tonight?
No, this is what it is. From 6/26 is 2020 birthday to 3/18, the day of the game, is 266 days. That's the coach of Norfolk
It
State.
is. Okay, so for people who don't get it, his birthday's 26/6. The game for the first four is on his 266th day of his age. Pope Francis is the 266th Pope. And when you write out Isus Omnum Salvator, the Jesuit motto, it equals 266. Pope Francis the first Jesuit Pope, number 266. And remember, he's Mr. 201 is Pope Francis. This year the championship's in Indianapolis, which is 201, so it should be a big number at the tournament. So I see what you're saying here. So he's got the perfect alignment. And you're saying if he beats Appalachian State, they fall to 17 and 12?
Yeah, that's the Pope's birthday,
December
17th of December, 17/12.
But here I'm seeing Appalachian State is 17 and 11. So yes, if they lost, they'd be 17 and 12, and Norfolk State would become 17 and 7. And when you write out the Jesuit order, it's 177 and 201. So yeah, that's pretty enticing right there. That is pretty enticing. And Norfolk State looks like they're the underdog. They're also a historically black college, and they just got a lot of love in the All-Star game. So.
And June 26, 2021 is the 177th day of the year. So this year is 177 days, and he'll become 17 and 7. Norfolk State, right, with a win.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that. That's exactly right. Isn't that so interesting? And again, who's saying, again, you guys, the Jesuits gave us the calendar and the language. They have it all synced up together. Looks like another proof. So.
Yeah, and did you like Michigan State tomorrow?
I wasn't crazy about that Michigan State UCLA game, but it was pointed out that West Lafayette equals 189, and if UCLA wins in West Lafayette, they'll be 18 and 9 on the 18th. So. I mean, that doesn't sound half bad, but there were some things there I wasn't crazy about. So,
but can't Tom Izzo could get his 53rd win on 16 date numerology?
And they're coming from Los Angeles, the UCLA team, and Los Angeles is 53. That's part of the reason I don't like that game. So, I'm not crazy about that.
Well, Michigan State could get their 16th win.
Right.
And also, he could get his 53rd tournament win on 16 date numerology, and Mackey Arena equals 43. Tom Izzo equals 43, and the UCLA could get their 43rd tournament loss.
I don't think tomorrow has 16 date numerology though. I'm pretty sure it's 17, isn't it? So.
Oh, 17. I'm sorry.
But yeah, that 53 thing is still there. That 53 thing is there for the Los Angeles thing. So to me, that one's iffy. Isn't it interesting how there's two Spartans, though? Norfolk State Spartans, Michigan State Spartans. It's like, what's up with that? And there's two Mountaineer teams, too.
Yeah, but
But
UCLA could get their 43rd loss in the tournament, all time in the tournament. And Mackey Arena, where they're playing, is 43, and Tom Izzo equals 43 in the most.
Exactly. I mean, there's plenty there for the. There's plenty there for Michigan State, but I don't like that they can get the 18th win, and so anyway, I'm not crazy about that game. Again, like I always tell people, if there's riddles on both sides that seem decent, those are the best games to stay away from. There's a ton of games in the tournament where there's not riddles going both ways, and it just looks like, okay, here's a great pick, this looks like a good upset. So if the game's iffy, I mean, if you have to fill out the whole bracket, that's another thing. But then you got to go with your guns. But again, you don't have to bet every game. So.
No. All right. Well, that Norfolk State looks like a pretty good riddle. All right, Zach. Thanks a lot. I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah. Great eyes, man. Keep it up.
Bye.
All right. Take care. It's late over there. That's what it is. It's late. He's tired. Because normally he's sharper with it. I could tell. So he's a little bit off tonight. I think he's tired. Let's go out to Louisiana. What's up, Louisiana?
Hello?
Yeah, how you doing?
All right, check this out, right? Wait, I have a question. So, do you know what the SWAC is?
The SWAC?
Football college. Yeah.
I don't. What is it?
All right, so, it's like teams like Grambling, Southern, and Jackson State with Deion Sanders is coaching. Right. I'm trying to see if that is staged.
Well, I'd have to take a look at it and see if anything pops out. The SWAC. So I'll have to look that up. I've never investigated before.
All right. And another question. It just sounds silly. Like, it's really silly. All right. So, all right. 2 years ago, right? It was a World Cup for Fortnite. Is that rigged too? Because they had like millions of people viewing, and I thought it was rigged just because,
Are you talking about a video game tournament?
Yeah.
I honestly don't know the answer to that. I never researched a video game tournament, so I do not know.
All right, that's all. That's it.
All right. Appreciate it. Gave me 2 things to look into. Thank you. All right. Let's go out to Binghamton, New York. New York, you're on.
Yo, that Norfolk State looks pretty enticing, doesn't it?
That looks pretty enticing, man. It does.
I actually called in about sports too. I'm talking about NFL, and I just want to give you this. So the Super Bowl, it will be Super Bowl 56, right?
Correct.
You know how Super Bowl 50 was all about Super Bowls are synced up with the Black Panther Party.
Well, Super Bowl 50
and
was.
So that means this Super Bowl is going to be also the 56th anniversary of the Black Panther Party. So what I'm thinking is the Patriots are going to be in the Super Bowl, and they're probably going to win it because Bill Belichick can get to 7-3 in Super Bowls, and it'll be the 2021 season, like the Super Bowl's in 2022. But it'll be the 2021 season.
Well, here,
and
join
us
us on Patreon to talk about football. I don't think that's going to happen, but just since we're limited on time and it's not football night yet, we got plenty of time for football. You can call back about this. It's an interesting thought. It's possible, but again, I don't think so. Look into the one team that the Chargers have 56 wins against. Appreciate it, man. You have a good night. Let's go out to Michigan. What's up, Michigan?
Hello?
Hello, you're on.
Oh, wonderful. I'm so glad. Yeah, I didn't actually have to stay on too long. It was like 42 minutes. But, so I am not into sports at all. I actually just started listening to your podcast yesterday, and I have some information that I wanted to share with everybody. Anybody who's been on the fence about, whether all this stuff we've been seeing and realizing about, the matrix at large, anything that, has caused you to question, anything that's caused me to question if it's all just conspiracy or in my head or schizophrenia or whatever, that was all ended for me yesterday when a friend of mine called me out of the blue who a good girlfriend of mine, really enjoy her spirit. She's a beautiful woman, very Christian, loves Jesus, and just really has a lot of good insight, I think, into what's going on with the world as well. And she told me that she has been dating a man. I won't say her name or his name, but I will say that he is in the NFL. He's on the Packers, the Green Bay Packers, and she said that they've been dating, and seeing each other for about the last 10 years, and that the other day he sent her a picture, and they both talk about the occult a lot and God, and he used to be a Christian boy growing up, but anyway, sorry to ramble, but anyway, he sent her a picture the other day where he was wearing the Illuminati ring, and he said, "I've joined it." And she immediately told him, I am not about that, and she basically, called me in and, wanted to sort of relay this information. But so it was made very real for her, and, it made it very real for me, too. And I've always known about Gematria. I've always known about the, different levels of, I guess what you would say MK Ultra programming that goes on in the different entertainment industries, like, how sports has their own. And so I listened to your podcast that you had with Larry Johnson the other day, and I sent that to her in response to our conversation, and she's hopefully listening to that tonight. But I just thought it was the weirdest thing because, for her to tell this to me, because everything's just been leading in my life very recently to really cause me to start looking at the people who I know and the people who have been around, and and realizing that I live in Ann Arbor, and this is a very Masonic town. I've known a lot of people who have been, kind of softly, I guess you could say, playing with the, fraternity, level occult stuff that, goes on. I'm sure you're aware. And anyway, it's such a weird thing to have this all become, so real for me all of a sudden. And I just wanted to share this with you and other people that, yeah, they're actually doing this shit. And, I don't know if he's conscious. I don't think he's conscious. He's obviously at the lowest level of it. at this point. He just got inducted. I don't know if he got inducted with other people, but, it's one of those things where, I don't know if they're aware, like, just like Johnson said, he doesn't know if you're aware of them, what they're doing, with the games they're playing, with the signs and the numbers and the sacrifices and all of that. But some of them, I think they get offered at some point the chance to become aware of it and to be the actor and the pawn at the same time. And I think that, I don't know if he's listening or if this will get out to him. I know if he, who knows who I'm talking about. If, anybody's watching, please get in touch with this young boy, because I know that he does believe in God, and I know that he does know that what he's about to get into is very dark, and it's going to lead him down a path that's, going to end up being, hell and the end of it. So I just wanted to call. I'm sorry, I'm just babbling. Like you said a word, but I just wanted to relay that information to you that, somebody that I know has become, aware of a man that she's known and loved in many ways, has ended up giving in to that dark side. And actually, it is a real thing. And, he has the ring to prove it. So, and I'm not sure like what level he's at or anything, but, I would just, from what she's saying to me, he's pretty young. I would think that this is just the start. So
just quick question.
Here's praying for him.
Just to clarify something. So did he say that he joined the Illuminati, or did he say he joined Freemasonry or another secret society, or was it?
It was an Illuminati ring.
Okay.
So it was not the Freemasons ring. It was a gold ring. It wasn't the red ring. It wasn't the blue ring. I really stopped. Like, I've tried to sort of in the last few years, I've tried to slow down researching this stuff, especially when the QAnon psyop came out. I was just like, you know what? I want to just pull back and try and get closer to God. So I'm really rusty on all this stuff. But, from my understanding and from what the picture I saw, or she told me it's his beginning ring, So he's just gotten into it, and he's like gloating, and he basically tried to, come to, and he's doing this weird psychological thing, I believe, where he's, looking almost to her to gain acceptance, or, to give a reaction of almost, I don't know, I guess you would say, like, just allowance for him to be doing that, and, she just turned him away. So I just thought it was just such a weird thing for, to hear that. And I just thought I wanted to share it with you guys and the people on the stream. I just thought it was really scary, So this is a real thing, and they are involved in it. I don't know if they all are or what, but he was given the opportunity to join, and he said yes.
Well, I appreciate the story. It's good information, so thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
All right. Look forward to the next call. You have a good night, friend. Okay. Let's go out to Illinois. Illinois, you're on.
Yo, Zach.
Yeah, how you doing?
Yeah, this is Nate Robinson, man. This is Mr. 52. Yeah, Nate Robinson equals 56 and 70, just in case you're wondering. Anyway, to start off, I think I heard in the live stream earlier, somebody said the Alabama coach was sitting on 40 wins. So that means he could get 41 at 13 crimes. And then I was going to tell you my favorite author today, R.A. Salvatore. He just got the vaccine 56 days from his birthday.
What's his name? What's his name?
I'm already knowing.
What's the author's name?
His birthday's on R.A. Salvatore.
Okay, I see it.
You ever heard of the Forgotten Realms?
No,
Chris Stewart, and it's a fantasy author. I started reading that when I was younger. I was probably like 9.
Okay.
It really taught me a lot of, big words and shit. But anyway, yeah, I got into them and whatever. His birthday is obviously January 20th, like 20/1. So shit, you already know what's going on with that.
Indeed. I see he tweeted about the vaccine on the 322nd day of the year too.
I see, bro, I'm banned on Facebook right now for the damn Chris Cornell, bro. I shared a thread last night of Chris Cornell, and I'm banned on Facebook because I be trying to get on my people on there to follow. I got a couple little sleepers, that's all I like here and there, but most people don't want to, like you say, they don't want to be associated with, oh man, people might look at me funny if I think that's real or whatever. But I don't give a fuck about none of that. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get boots on the ground.
Indeed. Indeed. Well, I really appreciate the observation. I'm going to look more into him getting the vaccine. Did he post about it on his social media?
Yeah, he posted about it on Facebook. I said, and it's the top post that keep popping up. And it's funny because you know how it is, like with the thumbnails or whatever. I went to the comments and at the time it had 201 likes on his comment about blah 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 blah. I hope that just what you said last year about have to have the vaccination report or papers whenever you go into the damn sports game or whatever. He said he's pushing for that shit.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, fuck that.
Interesting.
I'm gonna get on there. I'm unbanned in like 6 hours. As soon as I get on there, I'm about to get banned again. I'm about to throw the picture of the time from his birthday to the I'm gonna call him out.
I appreciate it. Thanks for the heads up, man. All right, that's the end of the show. The music's coming on. We'll be back next week, everybody. All right, so that is the end of the TFR show. I have no control over when the show ends or when the commercials come on. It's all on timers. But, yeah, if you tuned in and you wanted to hear more about March Madness, I can't control the callers. But on Patreon, we did a lot of work on the tournament. So if you want to watch those videos, it's on the Patreon page. Appreciate everyone who donates. Most people find that the donation is very worthwhile because a lot of people end up making their $5 a month back in record time and plus more. But yeah, we've done a lot of work on March Madness, and we're going to do one more stream tomorrow on March Madness before the 64 games get underway on Friday. And it's a lot like, I'm decoding things. Other people have the knowledge of decoding. We're putting our observations together. We're trying to form the clearest picture of what looks to be the best picks. And year after year, we do very well with the tournament. So we're trying to continue that momentum. And, yeah, if you were expecting more during the show, again, apologies, but the information is there if you want more. And also, if you don't have $5 to pledge a month, if you pledge $1, you get access to the sports notes, and you can pretty much read what I go over in the videos. So for $1, you can still get a lot of information too. Get you access to the Patreon page and the notes for the games. Before I go, just another announcement. In case you didn't hear what I'm working on, I started a new side project called Signs Matter. And what we're going to do is, I'm debating on if homeless people will do it just for food. They probably would, but they might also want a little something in return, so maybe a little bit of a payment too. But anyway, essentially paying and feeding homeless people to hold signs with positive messages. Signs Matter, I think, will be the name of the organization. And again, I just get so sad looking at all the homeless people, out there holding their signs. Nobody's donating. What if somebody paid them to hold a sign that had a positive message that made everybody smile instead of feeling bad driving past the homeless person who they don't have $1 for? So I thought that would be a win-win for the community. And then also, like, if you had them hold signs that made people think about things. I wouldn't want to put a sign in a homeless person's hands like COVID is an agenda, like I'll hold on a street corner. Because, again, I don't want some people already have like this resentment for the homeless, so they're holding that sign. It might provoke something, but, just a sign that nobody could get mad at. Smile at somebody. Do something nice. Just nice little phrases for people to drive by and read. Yeah, I should smile more. Yeah, I should do something nice for somebody. Hug somebody, And so anyway, there's a website being built for that, and I'm hoping that the homeless people who participate, they'll want to put their stories out there and share something and maybe figure out a way to set up I guess the problem with setting up like some sort of fundraiser for homeless is a lot of them don't have an account. Maybe we could do even that too, help these people get accounts set up so people can donate them money. Just figure out a way to help out homeless people and have the homeless people put out a positive message for everyone else. And, yeah, so, and I was just thinking about, like, if that thing existed, if you took that down to Seattle, if, like, you paid homeless people in Seattle to hold signs of messages that people in Seattle should be thinking about. For those who don't know, we were just in Seattle this weekend, raising awareness about things most people have no idea about. And a lot of people in Seattle, they could care less. They just got a middle finger for you. Seattle's got a really bad attitude problem. But, I was just imagining if you had a group of homeless people there holding signs like, you know, I guess I'd make them more thoughtful, but just like, should we question authority? What if 3 homeless guys are holding up signs that just say something like, is authority to be questioned? Should we think for ourselves? Because how many people would read that and be like, what in the world? Why is that homeless person not asking for money? And why are they asking me to think for myself? And again, you start to talk to homeless people, a lot of them are a lot more woke than, the people who we call mainstream citizens. So anyway, working on that project. I'm going to start it right here in this local town because there's a lot of young homeless people here. And if it takes off, hopefully spread the model all over. Hopefully show people how to set up the same model in their town. So, and again, so anyway, that's the side project that's coming, signsmatter.org. And I'm hoping, I talked to the lawyer Friday to set up the charity. I already paid the website team and got the contract for them to build the website. They're saying it'll be done as soon as this Friday, or at the longest, a little bit more than a week after that. So anyway, it's all coming soon. And this weekend, expect some new on the streets awareness campaigns here in this town, because today in Yakima, Washington, they opened up a mass vaccination site. So, and part of me feels guilty because I wanted to be there all day from the time it opened, getting out the word on the street about why people should think twice. But here's why I feel guilty. All the sports people needed me to do all the March Madness stuff today. So it's like, man, I was helping people figure out March Madness when possibly I could have been there and given some people some worthwhile information that might make them think twice about what they're doing. So it's like, God, I feel like an ethical dilemma. Is helping people with March Madness more important than potentially giving life-saving advice? And I'd have a talk with my dad this weekend. I said, listen, you thinking about getting the vaccine, so if they required it at your job, I said, you might as well just quit now and get your Social Security payment. My dad will only get like $2,000 a month from Social Security. But I said, listen, your whole life you've been frugal. You hardly spend any money. You shop at places that sell expired food for $1 your whole life. You can live on $2,000 a month. You don't need to keep driving the bus all day. And I said, really, I think the vaccine, kind of the way it works is it might be 1 in 100, it might be 1 in 1,000, but it seems some people are drawing the short stick. And when you draw the short stick, well, you might have, well, that might be the end of your days. And imagine you worked your whole life so hard just to get forced into the short stick. So anyway, he got the message, and I hope he sticks with that. But yeah, it's just crazy, and people need to think about things. So, like the caller said earlier, if people realize that all this stuff was simulated right before it happened, maybe it'll make them think twice. Like, wait a minute, yeah, this seems a little bit too coincidental. I better look more into this before I make this this big decision here. And yeah, so Asif has a sign idea. Show an injection needle. Think twice while you roll the dice. That's not a bad sign at all, because it's catchy. The phrase will stick in somebody's head. It's got the visual there. So I like that. And don't forget, Mr. Vaccines, Bill Gates, his foundation's right across the street from the world's biggest needle, the Space Needle. So anyway, I'm going to be doing a lot more on the streets, live streaming, and in the very near future, get some homeless out there and help feed them. So, like Asif said at the beginning, maybe it's just best to give them $20 for 2 hours, and then as we build up the movement and get more resources, maybe acquire a building and make the meals there, produce a lot more food. Because really, if you invest the money into the food and making good food, you could feed more people than just giving each person $20 a day. And then, of course, the risk you run with giving the homeless 20 is that they go and spend it on drugs, because there is a lot of addiction in the homeless community. That's why a lot of those people really need treatment. But Sweet Lady got excited about this idea. She's like, ooh, if I got out of school and you made this take off, I could help. She likes the idea of like helping out at this type of place and helping them with their addictions and, methadone clinic and all this type of thing. So maybe it'll all come together so beautifully here in the near future. But yeah, I've been putting a lot of time in Gematria, and I was just thinking maybe we need another kind of effective campaign to help the world that's even maybe more effective. Help out homeless people holding signs that make people think about things. Imagine if we raised so much money we could employ like 1,000 homeless people a day to hold up a sign that provoked thought in cities all throughout the nation. Again, if you just walk through Seattle, you saw why these people need to be thinking. Every last one's wearing a mask outside. Everyone's living in fear. Everyone hates I shouldn't say everyone, but 95% of the city, at least. Well, in terms of wearing masks outside, it was very close to 100%. It's 99 point something. But I swear, the only people that didn't have a mask on all day were those of us that were raising awareness. But and there were a lot of people. But yeah, so anyway, working on those projects, excited about that. It's given me this new motivation. But yeah, so. And also, you guys, GematriaEffectNews 21 is suspended, and that channel is on the verge of being deleted. So the biggest channel I have right now after Gematria Effect Sports is Voices of Humanity with Zachary K. Hubbard is the name of the channel. And if you do a search for that, it should pull up the YouTube. And I thought about doing the live stream on there tonight, but it's just such a small channel, it doesn't get many viewers. So I thought do it on Gematria Effect Sports so more people hear the show. So... And if you guys missed some of these clips from Seattle, again, they took down our live streams, but some people backed up the streams and part of the stream. I still need to get my hands on the copies of the stream. I know Bryson emailed it to me, but I need to download it myself. But here, I just want to close out with this. Like, this was part of what happened in Seattle. Just watch this interaction real quick here. Where's my sound?
But then... Something going on. But no, it's also right after the 5G. Then they wanted to track everybody and see if we're social distancing and obeying curfew. So, yeah, we're gonna be able to think about things. Shake your hand, hug you, all that shit. Yeah, take my mask off. Man, you don't need it. You don't need it. Man. Well, if everybody was like us, he wouldn't have to be doing this. That's right. I appreciate you, man. Guys, keep up the fight, man. Keep up the fight. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. And just because I'm not scared of the germs either, I'm going to take his mask just so nobody comes and harass him for littering.
The police were behind us at the time. I didn't want them messing with him for taking his mask off. But, yeah, we had some great interactions throughout the day. And again, it was all there were 3 big, long live streams. I mean, hours and hours of streaming content. And YouTube took it all down. But, again, there were interactions. There were interactions of people calling us crazy. There were interactions of people telling us how they survived COVID. An older gentleman who was a little bit heavyweight. You know, he said he had to be hospitalized twice for COVID, but he survived both times, and I told him he was a survivor. And I got to admit, a lot of the people who told me that they had, had COVID or had been in the hospital for COVID, they weren't the healthiest looking people, And again, I think really for people who are out there living in fear of the virus or whatever it is, again, I think the answer is to take care of yourself. Eat well, exercise, get your body in shape. I noticed a lot of the people who said that they had it were overweight. And then I also noticed how many brain dead people there were. There were so many people who walked by and said, I already got the vaccine, so how could it be an agenda? And I was like, but these are the same type of idiots that walk by and say this, but then you can't even respond to them because they continue to walk by like they made the end-all statements. Like, do they realize what they said just sounded so illogical and idiotic? Because you already got the rushed-out vaccine for the 99 point whatever % survivable illness. It's not an agenda? Does that make any sense? You went out and got a vaccine from a company that's either never made a vaccine before or one that's been sued more than any other pharmaceutical company for wrongful medical injury or death, Pfizer. It's like, wow, look at these brain dead zombies. That's why we just need some homeless people out there just holding signs. Critical thinking. Critical thinking. Should we question authority? Should we think for ourselves? Get all those guys fed for the day and get Seattle, on a different wavelength. So, but yeah. And also, You guys want to see what it looked like when I was in this position for like an hour on my knees, just getting water dumped over my head until I could finally see again. This is from January 16th in Portland. But notice, after I got sprayed in the face, Antifa cleared out, and so in a way we won the battle. I just had to take one for the team. But this is the aftermath. An hour of this. Here's what it looked like for 1 hour. And realize it wasn't warm outside. Thank God it was sunny, but it was a pretty cold day.
It's crazy.
This is how you can tell what people are actually have principles. Because people that are extreme, they will do anything to the death. They will just get more and more crazy in the name of whatever the fuck it is.
We got Zach's back out here. It's craziness. We weren't starting no problems with nobody. We wanted to break up a fight. You know?
Tear gas up in Seattle. That's not nearly as bad as this, man. I'll take tear gas. I got hit with tear gas on Facebook. 2012 up in Seattle.
I got hit by tear gas.
But this shit is a million times worse.
I thought Mason had shit on it. Mason got shit on the tear gas.
Man. Wow. Craziness. But we're here. We're out here supporting that. Al's books.
I was trying to get on ready. 1, 2, 3.
We out here.
Yeah, that's
we out here.
Crazy.
Not trying to cause no trouble, but people want in trouble with us. Because people are programmed, unfortunately. And freedom is scary to people.
The man who came up and asked if I got hit with tear gas, he was the local bucket drummer. When I could finally see again, I gave him a copy of the book. He was a nice guy. And Henry, if you're out there, that woman who was dumping water over my face, like I couldn't see it the whole time she was dumping water until I could finally see it. When I opened up my eyes, I thought it was Vita. That's the name of Henry's wife. So I was like, what in the world? What are you doing here for a second? But yeah. So anyway. Yes, subscribe to Voices of Humanity, because I'm going to be doing videos here now, because it's the second biggest channel I have that's not on the verge of deletion. And I'm probably going to start a new channel called Signs Matter, and just standing out on streets more, talking to people like I've been doing in recent days. And I'll have the homeless people that we help feed them. I'll get them on the video if they're comfortable too, for anyone who wants to go on video and share it. So I'm probably going to start a new channel called Signs Matter. It's not up yet, but I'll let you know where to subscribe when it is. And it'll mostly be a ground pound pavement type of channel, if you catch my drift. So, all right, Rambo killed it tonight. A lot of great callers tonight. Sorry to everyone who was left on hold. I didn't do a good job of keeping everybody to a minute, but I thought the callers were really good tonight, and it was hard to rush anybody off. So, Rambo, he just gets better by the week. If you guys have missed Rambo's post, just come to GematriaEffectNews. On your cell phone, you just scroll down the page to the bottom and click on Rambo's Corner, and it has all of his posts. And if you're on a computer, you just scroll down a little bit to the R's and just click Rambo's Corner, and then it'll take you to all of his posts. All of the posts Rambo's ever shared on this channel are right here. So you just scroll through. They're all here week after week in chronological order. And all of his posts are pretty big, so you'll be reading for a long time. Does a great job. And also shout out to my man in Seattle who came out and also hooked me up with a present as I was going. He gave me some of these THC enhanced chocolate balls, and I tried one out tonight for the first time, and they are definitely legit. So I appreciate that too, man. Thank you. Thank you. All right, True Seeker. March 28th. Will there be a tornado? I hope not. That's a prediction I want to be wrong about. We'll leave it there, you guys.